interrupted. The old Dragon King's soul returned to his original old body again. At this time, because of the backlash, blood was continuously flowing out of his nose, ears and mouth. The old Dragon King widened his eyes and looked at the man standing next to the destroyed stone statue in disbelief. The other person was wearing a pitch-black windbreaker, and wisps of black smoke filled with the breath of death were surrounding him. The face was shrouded in the aura of death. The man had a cold and indifferent look in his eyes, holding a black dagger in his hand. And behind him, there was a floating sharp black claw that seemed to be condensed from countless horrific death intentions. The sharp claws grabbed all the resentful evil spirits that escaped from the stone statue. If you look closely, you can clearly see that the number of evil spirits is decreasing. It is obvious that the other party is devouring these evil souls. You are. The old Dragon King thought of a horrible possibility. Especially the dagger. He couldn't forget it even in his dreams. You are the Night King? The old Dragon King exclaimed. The Night King is here so soon. The person who came was Gu Yan. He used the power of night to quickly travel through space and come here. The purpose is to eliminate the dying old man in front of him with blood coming out of all his 7 orifices. Old Dragon King. An old monster that has lived for centuries. Ever since inheriting the Dragon King Palace, he has been performing inhumane reincarnation rituals. His ultimate goal is eternal life. The conditions for eternal life are harsh. Or rather, the conditions given by a certain being are rather harsh. The most important point is, the person whose body needs to be possessed must be a person of great luck. Therefore, the old Dragon King not only took advantage of the destiny of the East Country connected to the Dragon King Palace, but even used his identity as the master of the Dragon King Palace to win over people with great destiny from all over the world. The soul of every person whose body is possessed will be dedicated to that existence in the end. And that incarnation of existence. That is. Gu Yan stepped on the broken stone statues on the ground, holding a dagger, and walked towards the old Dragon King with cold eyes. I wanted you to live longer. But after thinking about it, I decided to forget it. People like you really have to die to make people feel at ease. Gu Yan's multiple overlapping voices echoed in the cave. He is a very steady person and generally won't act rashly until he is absolutely sure. But, the old Dragon King attacked his family. Then, he must die. The latter's eyes finally revealed a look of fear. A backlash from the interruption of the ritual at this moment caused his meridians to rupture, and he lost all his cultivation. No, I can't die. Someone come. Phew. The words haven't finished yet. A dagger pierced his forehead. Gu Yan looked at the other party's horrified expression inferently and said lightly. Stop shouting, you are no longer the Dragon King. The words fell. Buzz. Then shadowy figures slowly emerged from the cave. These were all members of the Dragon King Palace before. Now, he has been transformed by Gu Yan into his own Shadow Man. How could it be? The old Dragon King's pupil shrank. He suddenly sensed something. It was a breath fluctuation that made him feel extremely familiar. Dragon King Jade? You actually got the complete Dragon King Jade? The old Dragon King's voice was hoarse and his breath was getting weaker. Because he was surrounded by good luck, he did not die immediately. If this body could still be used, maybe he could survive the crisis and gain some new opportunities. But now all of it is empty talk. His soul was firmly imprisoned in place by the dagger, leaving him no way to escape. He couldn't believe it and it was unbelievable. The Night King actually obtained the complete Dragon King Jade? This is something that has never happened before. Because it was prophesied. The relationship between the two is inherently hostile. And every time the Night King would be dragged down by the Dragon King of the Dragon King Palace until he was corroded by the power of the night and died. Without exception. Wait, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I won't go against you anymore. Don't kill me. I'm going to tell you a huge secret. It's a huge secret about this world. Phew. The words haven't finished yet. Gu Yan activated the power of the dagger with an expressionless face. In a moment, destroyed all the life fluctuations of the old Dragon King. Completely cut off the possibility of the other party's recovery. Deal with this old monster that has lived for centuries. Using a dagger is the safest option. A secret, I can see it myself. And at the same time, the host has lost the emotion anger. Warning, the host has been infected with too much night power. Using the dagger again will aggravate the infection. The host may lose more emotions. The host has obtained the complete Dragon King Jade. Host successfully transformed 183 shadow people. Host. Intensive system prompt sounds continued to be heard. Until the end. The system prompt sounds slowly stopped. The host has obtained the title of Shadow King. In the dark night, the true energy and mental strength are increased by 10 times. The host has acquired the skill of Shadow Man creation. Now you can use the power of the night to summon Shadow Man at will. Note, the Shadow Man summon in this way is disposable, and its strength is only 1/10,000th of the host's. Receive all messages quietly. Gu Yan's expression gradually calmed down. He looked at the dagger in his hand. Silence. Is this the price of using a dagger? Which Xiaoling mentioned. Lost emotions. This time it was anger. So what about next time? What will I become? Chapter 358. Strange stone statue, Dragon King Jade to give away. Gu Yan didn't think much about it. He looked around the ritual cave. This place is filled with magic circles made of blood. It's probably a reincarnation ceremony. You are the Night King? At this time, Ning Qian, who had witnessed all this from the beginning, asked with a weak face. She looked at the Night King in front of her, whom she had met in Zhang He. In addition to shock, she also felt sad. My master is actually such a person. And the Night King saved her? Gu Yan glanced at her inferiorly and said nothing. Although Ning Qian is a disciple of Longwang Mountain, she is Lang Linger's friend. So he turned his back and prepared to go to another place in Longwang Mountain. Countless shadow men also followed Gu Yan and began to move. The shadow people transformed by him are loyal slaves who are absolutely loyal to him. Wait a minute. Ning Qian stood up and shouted with all her might. What is your purpose? What on earth do you want to do to this world? There was no response, not even a pause. Gu Yan acted as if he didn't hear anything and slowly disappeared from the place. Ning Qian clenched her fists, her eyes looking very lonely. Why after this one time? She always felt that the Night King didn't want to destroy the world as much as the old Dragon King said. Does the other party have any purpose of his own? She glanced at the empty stone bed that had turned into black ash and disappeared. The Night King wiped out the old Dragon King, even the stone bed beneath him from this world. What a terrifying ability. Ning Qian suddenly felt that her previous idea of defeating the Night King was simply a ridiculous joke. This ability is completely different from that of a warrior. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is divine power. At this time, buzz buzz buzz. Ning Qian suddenly found that something seemed to be vibrating in her pocket. She was stunned for a moment, then seemed to have thought of something and quickly took out her cell phone. Cell phone? Ning Qian's eyes lit up with joy. Her cell phone was still on her. This mobile phone was bought for her by Lang Linger, saying that it would be convenient for communication and it was not expensive. But Ning Qian has always cherished it. Ning Qian, you are awesome. You are actually a warrior. You have to teach me what you know. Kabuto, I want to become a warrior too. Lang Linger's chattering voice came from inside. Ning Qian's eyes flickered and a line of tears fell from her eyes uncontrollably. She picked up the phone and put it to her ear. Yeah. Forget it, I don't want to care about anything. In this world, apart from Sister Linger, there is nothing else worth her clinging to. The other side. Inside a cave that exudes a gloomy aura. Gu Yan raised his head, looking at the broken stone statue fragments all over the cave. He fell into deep thought. This can be learned from the memories absorbed from the old Dragon King's mind. All his plans from the past to the present and the so-called prophecy. These statues told him all that. He called these statues, my lords. Gu Yan raised his hand. Buzz. A head of a stone statue that had rolled to the ground flew up and landed in his palm. He looked at the stone statue in his hand. The stone statue is pitch black and looks like a human, but its face is distorted. It has its eyes closed at this moment. Gu Yan held the stone statue's head and fell into deep thought. In the memories he read, the old Dragon King was able to communicate with these stone statues. But when he came to the cave, all the stone statues were shattered. Why? Is it because the old Dragon King died? Gu Yan is unknown. Because even in the original book, the author did not explain what these stone statues were. After all, it ended badly. And just when Gu Yan was thinking, next second, something strange happened. Galala. It's like a centipede crawling. The stone statue fragments on the ground began to tremble and tried to gather together. The stone statue of a human head in Gu Yan's hand actually opened its eyes. He seemed to be alive, the corners of his mouth slowly opened up, and his bloodshot eyes pierced Gu Yan's face. The Night King? Oh no, it's a human. Interesting guy, what a pity, what a pity. You ruined the path that this world was supposed to take. You will suffer pain that you will never be able to endure in your life. Everyone around you will die, and you will die too. You will regret everything you did today. In order to correct this world, the servants of heaven will come to purge you. You are all finished. Bang! The words fell. All the fragments of the stone statues in the cave turned into black smoke and dissipated here. But one in Gu Yan's hand was no exception. He was silent for a long time. Settings that didn't appear in the original book. What is the path that this world should have taken? The way of heaven. Is this the heavenly Tao that the Pure Love system told him about at the beginning? Servant of heaven. Why are there so many unknown things happening again? Of course, what Gu Yan wants to know most is, are these related to the many reincarnation memories in his mind? Gu Yan took a deep breath and his eyes became extremely determined. I have already taken this step and have come this far. So no matter what happens, no matter what gets in the way, I won't let these things hinder my plans. Look around at the shadow people around you. After a moment of silence, Gu Yan took out a piece of Dragon King Jade. The intact Dragon King Jade exudes a deep and mysterious glow under the faint light of the cave. A jade is emerald green all over, which makes it look extremely extraordinary. The most important thing is that it can not only help people see through illusions and stabilize their minds, but also constantly nourish themselves and help improve their practice efficiency. Now the Dragon King Palace exists in name only. After all the members were transformed into his own shadow men. Then this jade pendant is just a treasure called Dragon King Jade. There is no point in keeping it for myself anymore. I don't know if it's because the power of night and the Dragon King Jade repel each other. As a result, the effect of the Dragon King Jade blessing could not be manifested on him. Ling King Qiu is Xiaoling with her, so this Dragon King Jade will have no effect on her. So Gu Yan put away the jade pendant. He had already decided who to give it to. What happened to Lang Linger today means that she can no longer extricate herself from the world of warriors. Instead of waiting passively, it is better to take the initiative to practice and become a warrior. I have to say, I was just guessing, but now I see. This kid Lang Linger. Could it be that his luck index is really high? After all, the old Dragon King could find her when looking for someone with great luck. Thinking of this, Gu Yan and the shadow man in the cave disappeared in an instant. Brush. Accompanied by black smoke, Gu Yan's figure appeared in front of the Ling family's door. It only took a few breaths to get here from Longwang Mountain. Although I lost the angry emotion, but what he gained in return was a more proficient grasp of the dagger and the power of night. Gu Yan sighed softly. What you lose must be gained. Okay, it's time to explain to King Qiu what I have been doing recently. Also for the purpose of giving away the jade pendant in my hand. Half an hour later, inside the Ling family's house. So, have you been busy recruiting the Dragon King Palace recently? Ling King Qiu held the heavy Dragon King Jade in his hand. For a while, silence. Gu Yan sincerely pressed Ling King Qiu's shoulders and said, King Qiu, this is how it happened. It was very sudden and coincidental. The heir to the Dragon King Palace happened to die. And the old Dragon King also happened to die. I happened to have a jade pendant. So I just happened to become the master of the Dragon King Palace. Do you think I'm a fool? Ling King Qiu couldn't help but swear in his heart. Chapter 359 Give the Dragon King Jade to Linger. Dragon King Jade? Ling King Qiu tried hard to calm herself down. Wait a moment. Let me sort this out in my mind first. The first is Shaolin, who is the only heir to the Dragon King Palace and holds half of the Dragon King Jade. It is rumored that as long as someone obtains the complete Dragon King Jade, he or she will be able to command the entire Dragon King Palace. When Ling King Qiu learned about this matter before, he had thought about dealing with Shaolin. But, she took into account the power behind Shaolin. That is, the old Dragon King. At that time, I was worried that if I took action directly, the old Dragon King and others would notice something and put Gu Yan and Linger in danger. He had no idea of the old Dragon King's strength level, so he had left Shaolin aside. But now, Shaolin just happened to die. Oh, what a ghost. As expected, he must have been killed by Gu Yan. And Gu Yan also got the Dragon King Jade from him. Where did you get the other half? Ling King Qiu asked after a moment of silence. Bai Quan gave it to me. There is a rule for this Dragon Tail Jade pendant, which is that it will only end up in the hands of the other party if the owner of the jade pendant wants to give it away. Gu Yan replied while rubbing his shoulders and back. He knew that Ling King Qiu knew that he was a fake Night King. Ling King Qiu didn't know that he already knew that the other party knew that he was a fake Night King. So Gu Yan had to explain the situation from an uninformed perspective. Ling King Qiu appeared calm on the surface. But there was already a wave of turmoil in my heart. No two pieces of Dragon King Jade can command the complete Dragon King Jade of the Dragon King Palace. Just like that, got it? So simple, so easy? More importantly, how could Gu Yan get this thing from Bai Quan? She held the Dragon King Jade, and Ling King Qiu could sense the wonderful power of rules constantly emanating from it. How did Shaolin happen to die? I don't know, maybe he was assassinated? I was also shocked when I heard the news. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. How did his jade pendant end up in your hands? He gave it to me. King Qiu, do you remember a girl named Wang Yellen? The one my mother was hospitalized with before? Shaolin and I had some misunderstandings. After the misunderstandings were resolved, he gave me the Dragon King Jade to make amends. Who would have thought? This kind of terminology is used to fool fools. If I didn't know that you were pretending to be the Night King, I would have exposed you in person. Raw? Ling Qingqiu suddenly became alert. When Gu Yan said this, did he really think I was a fool? Or did he think I was easy to fool? But Gu Yan didn't know that I knew he was actually a fake Night King. I think the other party said this to dispel my doubts about him. Oh, such a low-level deceptive term. Gu Yan, how can you be a qualified Night King like this? Are you qualified to say this? Xiaoling jumped out at this time and said in a deep voice. Shut up, Xiaoling. Ling Qingqiu was disappointed in his heart, but nodded on the surface. In fact, with her perception, she can tell whether a person is lying or not. For example, what Gu Yan said just now, except for the part about Bi Quan Lan, the rest are all lies. However, this also further proves that Xiaolin died at the hands of Gu Yan. After all, how could the heir to the Dragon King Palace die by chance? Speaking of which, it turns out that Gu Yan has been eyeing Xiaolin for a long time. Could it be that the reason why I went to the hospital to help Wang Yelin a long time ago was because of Xiaolin? Has he started planning since then? For me? Or purely for the Dragon King Jade? Where is the old Dragon King? Shouldn't he be a Dragon King mount? Ling Qingqiu continued to ask. Gu Yan had already prepared the terminology, and said with some regret, the old Dragon King went astray and secretly used evil magic, causing his soul to fly away. I never thought that he, a dignified Dragon King, would actually do such a thing. You lied to me again. Ling Qingqiu was angry. It seems that the old Dragon King was also killed by Gu Yan. No, the old Dragon King went astray and didn't lie. What's going on? As the Dragon King, shouldn't he be on the side of justice? Speaking of which, when did Gu Yan acquire this ability? Is it because of the borrowed dagger? It seems the other party's target is indeed the Dragon King Palace. Otherwise he would not have seized the Dragon King Jade immediately after taking away her dagger. But if it was purely for the Dragon King Jade, then why did you take out the Dragon King Jade now and let me know? Ling Qingqiu was a little confused. She took the Dragon King Jade and wanted to hand it back to Gu Yan. I understand, I'll give it back to you. After all, the Dragon King Jade belongs to the Dragon King Palace. Back then, we were dealing with the Lang family's forces. The Dragon King Palace also took action, so she felt very uncomfortable holding it in her hand. However, Gu Yan shook his head, but he did not take it back. Instead, he shook his head and said, No, Qingqiu, listen to me. It is rumored that when the Dragon King Jade is merged, it will be the time to give orders to the Dragon King Palace. I have the support of the Gu family, so I am very strong. The Dragon King Palace is of no use to me at all. Ling Qingqiu was slightly stunned. She held the Dragon King Jade in her hand and had a guess in her mind. So she asked hesitantly, What do you want? At this point, Gu Yan revealed his true purpose. I want to give the Dragon King Jade to Linger. The Dragon King Jade can exorcise evil spirits and protect the holder. It can also clear the mind and resist the enchantment of illusions. And it can even improve the holder's training efficiency. Gu Yan stopped massaging and said seriously, the main reason why Linger was attacked today is that she has great luck. The old Dragon King wants to use her body to achieve his own immortality. But fortunately, the old thing turned against itself and died. Hear this. Ling Qingqiu was stunned. Linger is the child of destiny? And the second half of the sentence. That old thing wants to take over my Linger? Gu Yan is telling the truth. In other words, Gu Yan just came back from Long Wang Mountain? He went alone to kill the old Dragon King? Ling Qingqiu suddenly understood something. And everything became clear to him. Xiaolin will die because he is the heir to the Dragon King Palace and the enemy of her Lang family. The old Dragon King died because the other party attacked Linger. The reason why Gu Yan got Bi Quan Lan's jade pendant was actually because Linger and Quan Lan were good friends. So it was understandable that she gave Gu Yan half of the jade pendant without knowing the importance of the jade pendant. Gu Yan, is this your purpose? Ling Qingqiu guessed roughly based on some details and fell silent for a while. Gu Yan was still explaining, but even if the old Dragon King is dead, it doesn't mean Linger will be safe in the future. Because while the Child of Fortune has many opportunities, it also comes with many dangers. Xiaolin, the son of destiny, is dead. There is no one to attract crises and opportunities. So all of them will fall on Linger. Danger and opportunity coexist. So instead of letting Linger wait for danger to come, it is better to let her practice and become a warrior directly. So, the words haven't finished yet. Ling Qingqiu grabbed Gu Yan's hand. The latter was stunned. Qingqiu? He swallowed. Could it be that Qingqiu doesn't agree? Or did I not explain it clearly? When he wanted to say something, Ling Qingqiu turned around and hugged Gu Yan tightly. She buried her head in Gu Yan's arms and said in a complicated voice, Gu Yan, promise me, whatever you're going to do, please think of us and don't put yourself in danger. I don't want to care what you're going to do. But we can't live without you. Don't do anything too dangerous. Even if you want to do it, you must discuss it with me. Gu Yan chose not to tell her that he was the Night King. That means the other party must have something else he wants to do. I shouldn't have exposed it at this time. Besides, Gu Yan looks no different from before. It should be. Okay, she believed Gu Yan. Gu Yan understood Link Qiu's inner complexity and struggle. But he could only give an answer now that he himself was not sure if he could do. Good. He hugged Link Qiu in his arms, and all the fatigue from the past few days was swept away at this moment. Suddenly he remembered something and said, by the way, King Qiu, there are a few more things. Chapter 360, The Ancient Martial Arts Sect Conference. Half an hour later, Gu Yan explained the situation and left. Link Qiu sat in the study. Unable to come back to his senses for a long time, Gu Yan told her two things. The first one. It's about the whole nation becoming warriors next year. Everyone will have their warrior talent tested at that time. In addition, the Gu family also plans to establish a civilian martial arts group in Zhanghe to recruit martial artists who do not want to join the department. At the same time, the law enforcement system will undergo major changes. A new department system will be added to punish warriors, namely the sword-wielding department, and department members will be called sword wielders. The purpose is to restrain the surging number of warriors. Link Qiu sighed softly. From this perspective, it might not be a bad thing to let Linger practice in advance. The world will change dramatically next year. All talented people will become warriors. As for those without talent, they may continue to be ordinary people. But when you see your friends and family around you becoming warriors one by one, while you yourself are still an ordinary person, this feeling must be unpleasant. By then the secular world may also follow the same path as the ancient martial arts world, in which the strong prey on the weak. Of course, the most important thing is, what kind of actions will the Night King played by Gu Yan take at that time? Link Qiu had somewhat guessed the reason why the warrior headquarters would promote the warriorization of all citizens this time. It must be because of the two previous incidents. Once as Zhanghe Night King, and once as Forbidden Land No. 5. This resulted in a large number of high-level warriors being lost and killed. This is what made the warrior department feel a sense of crisis and choose to make the warriors public. The world is about to change. Link Qiu sighed softly. Certainly. Except for this matter. Another thing Gu Yan said was, on New Year's Eve, the day after tomorrow, he would come to pick her and linger up to a dinner at Gu's house. Well, Gu Yan and I are becoming more and more alike. That's not right. Gu Yan and I were already in a relationship. Link Qiu coughed lightly when he thought of this. Besides that, there was one more thing that she revealed to Gu Yan. That is something that allows you to perfectly manipulate your mental power. He also demonstrated his mental blade and its effects in front of Gu Yan. After knowing this, Gu Yan seemed very happy and relieved. In short, the other party doesn't know where to go now. Thinking of this, Link Qiu lay on the desk with the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and his calves under the table kept shaking. Fortunately, Gu Yan has not changed. This way I can feel at ease. In Link Qiu's mind, the power of the night has become stronger. Emotion, maybe one of them, has disappeared. Xiaoling felt extremely complicated. Gu Yan, why don't you listen to me? If you keep going like this, you will get into trouble sooner or later. Bei Quan Lan, who has been discharged from the hospital, is at home connecting to the microphone in a small group of 4 people including Ling Linger, Ning Qian and Gu Yingying. On the phone screen, there are 4 avatars. A basic VX avatar, a selfie of a yellow-haired guy, a profile photo of him holding Ling Linger. There is also a handsome avatar that looks like the male protagonist of a 2-dimensional Otomi game. Bei Quan Lan was lying on the bed, and she said in surprise, Sister Linger, are you telling the truth? There are warriors in this world. Ling family. Ling Linger said with great certainty. That's for sure, my brother-in-law and my sister are both warriors. And Ning Qian is the same, she has also achieved innate cultivation. Speaking of which, Ning Qian, why are you so stuck? Ning Qian felt a little embarrassed. The signal at Longwang Mountain was indeed not good. She spoke incoherently to the others. No, not that exaggerated. Sister Linger will definitely surpass me in cultivation. And here I am. In the mountains, the signal is a bit poor. In the mountains? Ning Qian, you ran out to play without calling me? But you're right about something. Ling Linger was also very confident. She smiled and said, Hey, that's right, I am peerless in the world and can definitely cultivate to become a Grand Master. By the way, Gu Yingying, my brother-in-law, is a congenital one. So what is your cultivation level? Is he at least a post-tatal warrior? Western country. Backstage interior of the stage. Gu Yingying, who was preparing for her next performance, suddenly felt embarrassed. How could she have acquired any talent? She was just a third-rate warrior. But she didn't want to be looked down upon by Sister Linger. So she coughed lightly. Well, about the same. Oh, you liar, you are obviously only third-rate. Ning Qian then revealed that she had already scanned the other party's cultivation level during the Gu family's annual meeting. Bi Quan Lan seemed very happy listening to the noise on the other end of the line. At this time, snap, there was a sudden noise outside the window. Bi Quan Lan was stunned, then turned her head to look. Just see. The woman was leaning against the window, looking at her expressionlessly. This person is the female warrior who attacked her this morning. Suddenly Bi Quan Lan was so frightened that she let out a sharp explosion. A high HH. Snap. The phone call was hung up. Hello? Quan Lan? Quan Lan? Lang Linger was stunned, and then suddenly thought of something. I was attacked. Then maybe Quan Lan is also. Oops. Lang Linger stood up quickly. No, she had to go find Quan Lan. After she spoke a few simple words on the phone, she got up and set off to go to the Bai family. At the same time, this is Gu Yan. After leaving the Lang family, Gu Yan was strolling on the street, and his mood became very good. The two major evils in my heart were finally eliminated. One is Shaolin, and the other is Shaolin's master. Now I can live peacefully until next year. That's right. Just in time to see how the Light of Hope is doing. It's really not a good idea to let Lao Gao stay there alone. When Gu Yan thought of this, black smoke condensed from the power of night began to surge around him. You know what? Using the power of night really makes traveling easier. Brush. In an instant, his figure disappeared from the spot. Ancient martial arts world. Inside the spacious ancient hall. In front of a long square table that can seat dozens of people. Dozens of sect leaders gathered here. There is a righteous way. And there is an evil way. The only thing in common was that each of them had a very gloomy and haggard face. Once in the river and sea, once in a forbidden area. This directly led to the near-complete annihilation of the mid and high-end combat forces in their ancient martial arts world. I originally wanted to let the Protector take the young people he likes over there to gain some experience. As a result, it became someone else's experience. As a last resort, they convened another sect meeting. All the well-known sects in the ancient martial arts world are here. The atmosphere was heavy. An old man sitting at the head of the square table said in a deep voice, "You know everything, right? The department is ready to make the warriors public. I think everyone understands what this means even if I don't say it." As soon as these words came out, the hall became noisy. The true energy of the ancient martial arts world has become very thin, and there are fewer and fewer talented people. Since the department has chosen to make it public, we should go to the secular world to recruit talents together. Oh, there is no such good thing. Talents are selected by each department first, and we can only eat the leftovers. No, I don't believe that if our sect offers such generous conditions, these inexperienced guys will not join our sect. In fact, today's ancient martial arts world is no longer the same as before. Not only is the true energy thinning, but talented people are also fading. The department's proposal at this time is like a timely help to them. The old man sitting in the main seat looked at the noisy crowd silently. I saw that everyone had almost finished arguing. He then looked at the cold and beautiful woman with icy long hair who was sitting on the side without saying a word. He asked kindly, "Saint Lang, what do you think?" After the words fell, everyone shut up and looked at the cold and beautiful woman. The woman known as the Cold Saint heard this. There was no ripple in his eyes. And his tone was calm. "I am going to the secular world to find my family. The rest has nothing to do with me." Well, it's useless to ask. Everyone shook their heads helplessly. What family? You are the holy maiden of Bing Xin sect, and you were brought up by the old sect master since childhood. Where do you get your family in the secular world? You all have the surname Lang. You want to say that the Lang family that was besieged by them back then is your original family? That's noisy. Everyone felt bored, even though Saint Lang had powerful skills and stunning looks. However, due to her practice of Bing Xianju, she became heartless and desireless, and it was really impossible to communicate with her. The quarrel continued in the hall. Only the holy maiden of Bing Xin sect remained silent. "Sister, I will definitely find you. Then avenge the Lang family." Chapter 361 The Light of Hope, Luoya's Complex Heart. Light of Hope. Gu Yan came here. Watching the scene suddenly change, Gu Yan clenched his fists, his eyes filled with inexplicable meaning. Is this the power of the night force? It really is? Is that not right? Gu Yan shook his head and frowned. Something is wrong. Why would I think this way? The power of night is only something that is used occasionally in order to impersonate the Night King. The reason why he used a dagger the first 2 times was simply because it was the safest way to kill the 2 people. DSK Gu Yan thought of a possibility. Could it be that the power of night has begun to affect his cognition? Damn it. No wonder Xiaoling said before that a dagger can bewitch people. It seems that I need to pay more attention in the future. At this time, Master, Lao Cao has already received the notice and is waiting here in advance. Watching the young master's miraculous means of travel, Lao Cao felt deeply amazed. Seeing Gu Yan was stunned, Lao Cao reminded him, Principal Wu wants to confirm the training plan and some detailed requirements with you. Master, are you okay? Gu Yan seemed to be in a bit of a bad state. So Lao Cao was a little worried that he might be too tired recently. Gu Yan came back to his senses, took a deep breath and shook his head. It's okay. He paused and smiled at Lao Cao. Let's go and take a look. Okay, master. Come to the tower built by the Light of Hope. In the principal's office, Woya had no choice but to get into work mode. Gu Yan sat on the sofa nearby, looked at Woya with a smile, and said, Principal Wu, how do you feel about working here? How can being forced feel good? Woya snorted coldly, but still did not forget the important matter after all. Her son was still in Gu Yan's hands. So she took out a thick document and placed it on the table, saying coldly, take a look at it. If possible, then Light of Hope will operate according to my training method. From the diet of the warriors, to the martial arts techniques that are suitable for each person, to the training methods, to the class competitions at specific times, to the rewards system. There are also issues such as class division and the management of new members who will join later. It's all up there. Lao Cao walked up, took the document and handed it to Gu Yan. The latter simply glanced through it, with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. He sighed, as expected of you, Master Ye, you are the one who can handle this aspect of martial arts. If this information were posted on the warrior forum, it would definitely cause an uproar. It records in detail all the formulaic processes that a warrior should follow from entry to subsequent cultivation. It can be said to be gospel for lazy people. However, there are also many unnatural operations, such as some extremely inhumane training methods. A small trick for acquired warriors to break through bottlenecks and reach the innate level. Use the extreme cold temperature to strengthen your body while falling into a near-death state. If your heart stops and you cannot break through, ask others to treat you immediately. And repeat the above steps after you get up. You are artificially breaking through a desperate situation, right? Fortunately, everyone here has improved their physical fitness and talents through claw cells, otherwise a lot of people would die. Woya didn't say anything. After all, what Gu Yan said was the truth. I am indeed a theorist, but I can also be a practical person. Gu Yan put down the document, stood up and said with a smile, let's implement it according to your plan. Seeing that Gu Yan agreed directly, Woya hesitated. She stood up and said, really? Some of the things in it. The words haven't finished yet. Gu Yan interrupted and said, it's okay, that's it, Shitu and the others can withstand more than you think. After all, they have all been transformed by claw cells. Hearing this, Woya thought that Gu Yan was an inhuman guy and that what she did was just in theory. How is it possible to actually use some cruel training methods on those kids? After half a day of communication, Woya also learned that the children of Light of Hope are all orphans. Looking at the children who are about the same age as his son, naturally, Woya would not be in a good mood either. Who would have thought at the age of going to school, these kids were captured by the devil like Gu Yan and turned into warriors? If she continued to make them live in such pain, Woya felt that she was not worthy of being a human being. But Gu Yan said so. And you just need to get rid of some extreme training methods and everything will be fine. She nodded, I understand. Gu Yan nodded and walked out of the house. Okay, I'll go see the kids. Suddenly, he paused, then turned to look at Loya. Will you go together, Principal Wu? How are you getting acquainted with the kids? If the principal and Shitio you are not familiar with each other, then they will not be able to carry out some work. Wu originally wanted to refuse to travel with the man who had captured her son. But, I don't know why. She wanted to know what the children thought of Gu Yan. So she nodded and walked over, okay. Ever since the Light of Hope became more complete, the teaching building was renovated and put into use. Class A. Brother, when do you think the adults can come and see us? After the transformation of claw cells and several months of practice, Xiaobie, Shitu and other members who were the first group to join the Light of Hope have already shed their immaturity when they first joined. Everyone's eyes were very calm and they all exuded the aura of an acquired warrior. Their bodies seemed to be growing a little faster due to the claw cells. This makes them look 2 or 3 years older. Shitu has a clean-shaven head and a calm and serious face. Xiaobie, the master is usually very busy. It's great that he can visit us once in a while. Don't act like a child, be more mature, class is about to start. Hurry and sit back in your seat. As members of Class A, we must have Class A consciousness. Xiaobie looked aggrieved when she heard that. She sat back at the table beside her and said, oh. Shitu saw this and felt soft inside. Xiaobie, Don't be sad after the training this afternoon. I will treat you to milk tea. Really? Xiao Bie was happy again. At this time, snap, the classroom door opened. Sir, this is Class A. It's almost time for class, so everyone should be here. Haha, okay. As the familiar voice reached everyone's ears, the mood of everyone in the classroom gradually became high. The sound gradually became louder. Chitu and Xiao Bie also looked at each other, when both showed incredible excitement in their eyes. Really? Next second, Gu Yan walked in. Everyone in the classroom looked at Gu Yan. He walked to the front of the classroom, glanced at everyone below, and then greeted them gently. Yeah, you all look very energetic. Have the kids missed me these days? Think, my lord. I am already a first-rate warrior. Sir, I planted some flowers yesterday and wanted to give them to you. Grown-ups. Everyone rushed to share everything they had. Everyone's eyes revealed respect and longing for Gu Yan. In their eyes, it was Gu Yan who gave them a new home and a new life. Gu Yan, in addition to being their adult, he is more like their parent. Luoya, who was watching all this outside the house, was stunned where she was. Gu Yan's influence is so great? Don't the children resent and fear him? And she stared in a daze as Gu Yan gently walked over to the children and squatted down to chat with them. The other person's expression was so warm that it seemed to be radiating light. Gu Yan, is this the other side of your disguise? Chapter 360. To this woman insists that I am the Dragon King. Gu Yan's arrival made the children of Light of Hope even more excited. Even when they left, the children cried because they were reluctant to leave. Oya said that she seemed unable to see through Gu Yan at all. It was obvious that these children were captured by Gu Yan to be used as tools for warriors. The children should be able to realize something from the harsh training they receive in their daily lives. But why? What magic does this man have that makes these kids follow him so much? The Light of Hope at the door. Gu Yan glanced at Luoya, who was still following behind him, and couldn't help but chuckled, saying, Principal Wu, is it enough to just send me here, or do you have something else to do? Hearing this, Luoya hesitated for a moment and then looked at Gu Yan seriously, and said in a deep voice, a tool for your evil plans. Evil plan? How could my pure love plan be evil? Gu Yan felt helpless in his heart. Why did you ask so many questions? On the surface, he smiled and nodded. Correct. They are all my tools. Are you satisfied, Principal Wu? Train them well. They will be of great help to me in the future. Of course, the more brutal the training, the better they can handle it. After all, claw cells can heal all wounds. Luoya's face darkened when she heard this. You are such a nasty scum. Sure enough, this guy had no good intentions. These children might become the material for some horrific experiments in the future. I didn't care about Luoya's feelings. Gu Yan seemed to have thought of something. He looked at Lao Gao and said, Oh, Lao Gao, give that to our principal Wu. Okay, master. After saying that, Lao Gao stepped forward and handed a mobile phone to Luoya. The latter took it in confusion. What is this? I don't mean anything else. I'm not a devil. I've said before that I'm very good to my own people. Gu Yan shrugged, seeing Luoya's stunned expression. He smiled and said, From now on, you can use this phone to chat with your son Tong Tong. I asked my men to buy him an electronic watch. At this point, Gu Yan turned his back and waved his hand. Don't thank me. It's just because everyone in the noble class your Tong Tong is in has this one. So your child doesn't seem to be less sociable. Do a good job. Principal Wu, I'll come to inspect your work next time. Oxil held the phone in her hand in a daze. Looking at Gu Yan's leaving back, I was stunned for a moment. It was this man who had trapped her here. But why is it that when the other party expresses such kindness, I feel so incredible and warm? This is what a strange mentality. Luoya sighed softly. Never mind, let it be. Gu Yan gave her an annual salary of tens of millions, allowed her children to attend a school she had never dared to dream of before, and allowed her to buy a house in the school district that she had never been able to afford before. The only price was that he controlled her in this place to train warriors and she lost her freedom. But Gu Yan, what exactly do you want to do? Gu Yan left. Back in the car, he began to think about and take the matter of night power seriously. The loss of the emotion anger did not change Gu Yan much. So Gu Yan himself didn't care much about these things. But, just before that, he subconsciously had the thought that, the power of night is so wonderful. This is a very scary thing. If I become like what Xiaoling said, and become a body controlled by a dagger, I will be doomed. So he asked in his mind, System, do you have any way to stop the erosion of the power of night? Reporting to the host, the power of night is another power different from the power of pure love. This power comes from the power of a certain evil existence. The relationship between these is quite complicated, and the host cannot completely eliminate or even control it with his current strength. But it can suppress the erosion of the host by the power of night through other means. What method? Gu Yan frowned. This power of the night. Or the dagger, according to Xiao Lang. Isn't it the thing in that cult book? The relationship is complicated. Could it be that your system has some connection with that cult book? But that shouldn't be the case, right? The system continued to give answers. The solution is the host can use the power of pure love to attach to the power of night, so as to suppress it. After all, the power of pure love. And do anything the host wants. The words fell. Guyan also thought of the power of pure love. I almost forgot about this setting. At the beginning, he used the power of pure love to improve his cultivation, and also relied on it to regain his claws. Chirp. Well, it seems that this is not a solution. Thinking of this, Guyan used the power of pure love to wrap up all the power of the night. A moment. Guyan realized that his mind seemed to be much clearer. Yes. I feel comfortable. Is this the effect of the power of pure love? So how can I master the power of night directly? Hint. When the host becomes a Grand Master, he can use the power of pure love to control and enslave the power of night. Grand Master. This will take a long time. Temporarily put this idea aside. Guyan felt relieved for the time being. He also realized that using the power of night in daily life would not have a particularly big impact on him. Only when using a dagger. The impact will increase dramatically. The knight's dagger is indeed an evil weapon. At this time, Bin Galing. Guyan's phone vibrated. It was Leng Linger calling. He was stunned and then answered. Next second, Leng Linger's panicked voice came from the other end of the phone. Brother-in-law, come to Quan Lan quickly. Something happened. There is a female warrior here with Quan Lan. Click. The phone call was hung up. Guyan slowly put a question mark. He immediately sensed the claw cells placed on Ba Quan Lan's side. But there was no danger signal at all. What's going on? Guyan frowned, then said to Lao Gao, go to the Ba family. Okay, master. Half an hour later. When Guyan rushed to the Ba family and saw this scene, he was speechless. Because, brother-in-law, wow, you're finally here. Look at this woman, she keeps following me around, insisting that I'm the Dragon King. Leng Linger ran out with tears in her eyes and hid behind Guyan. In front of Guyan stood a woman who was at the peak of the early Grandmaster level. The other person looked excited, and his eyes kept looking at Leng Linger. He muttered incoherently, New Dragon King, I am finally no longer controlled by that old thing. Lord Dragon King, your strength is weak, but it doesn't matter. I'm here, I know all the opportunities that old man has hidden. I will train with you, and you will definitely become the strongest Dragon King in the world. And then you can slay demons and monsters. Ooh. This is my job. Lord Dragon King. Speak up, Lord Dragon King, I am your favorite star. Guyan took a deep breath. He looked at the woman in front of him who had a somewhat crazy look in her eyes. He looked at Leng Linger who was standing behind him with tears in her eyes. He seemed to understand something. Are you starting to cheat, Leng Linger now? The Grand Master and the Protector of the Way will also give you an opportunity. Right? Chapter 363 Xiao Lang arrives. Bei family. Bei Quan Lan angrily grabbed Yun Xing's arm, trying to pull him away from Leng Linger. Hey, stop sticking to my sister Linger. All the fear of the meteorites at the beginning disappeared. And all that remained was the war between the parties. Oh Lord Dragon King. Yun Xing, with a rosy face. Leng Linger, who looked helpless. Brother-in-law, what should we do now? Leng Linger turned her gaze to Guyan. In fact, she has no objection to girls being close to her. But this woman is a bad girl, a big bad girl who attacked our Quan Lan. I don't know what to do. Looking at the woman who had been hugging Leng Linger's arm and rubbing it hard, Guyan understood everything. From the conversation just now, they can learn that the other party's name is Meteorite. He was originally a warrior hundreds of years ago, but who would have thought that after joining the Dragon King Palace, his soul was sealed by the old Dragon King, and he became a dragon slave. Hundreds of years have passed, so he has become somewhat delirious and even a little crazy. In addition, after the old Dragon King died, Guyan converted other dragon slaves into shadow men. But meteorites were missed. Because the other party had been arranged to find Bei Quan Lan to inquire about the whereabouts of the Jade Pendant. This leads to when the previous and current owners changed. The only one missing was the other. In addition, the stone statue was destroyed and the seal on the opponent's soul was lifted. At last, Guyan looked at the meteorite in front of him that was behaving strangely. That's what happened. Guyan coughed lightly and said to Leng Linger, putting aside other things, you are the Dragon King. It just so happens that you want to practice, and this person is a master. If you follow her, you will be safe and avoid taking detours. Leng Linger. What? This woman is a master. Leng Linger was stunned when she heard this. Before this woman had been claiming that she was a master. I want to teach her how to practice, but how could I? Who is so smart, believe this? As a result, after Gu Yan said this is actually true? Ling Linger was immediately happy. Bi Quan Lan realized that something was wrong and immediately wanted to stop it. Sister Linger. Quan Lan, we are all good sisters. Lang Linger interrupted Bi Quan Lan's speech, then smiled and took hold of Yenxing in Bi Quan Lan's hands. You are all my good friends. Let's practice together. Meteorite's face flushed. Lord Dragon King. Bi Quan Lan wanted to cry but had no tears. Why is this happening? There is actually one more competitor. Seeing that the situation was almost over, Gu Yan stood up and prepared to leave. Okay, in this case, I won't bother you anymore. It's rare for a female ghost to take something so seriously. I just don't know what the other person's talent is. I'm probably about the same as Shaolin. The destiny of both should be the same. Okay, take care, brother-in-law. After leaving the BA family, Gu Yan sat back in the car. The matter of the Dragon King Palace and the Light of Hope can now come to an end. But Gu Yan still couldn't relax. For his future plans, he must seize all the time. It has been a while since I last went to Forbidden Area No. 5, but Gu Yan has not forgotten that he still has the identity of the king of the underworld. But until then, Gu Yan planned to go home first and then wait for someone to arrive in the evening. Maybe it was Gu Yan's sixth sense, he always felt that Xiaoling would come to see him again tonight. Night. Family-oriented. A pure white moonlight shines through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Gu Yan sat on the familiar single sofa, with sweets and milk tea placed on the small table next to him. Next second, a white jade hand picked up a puff. Then the owner of the jade hand sat on the sofa. And a cold voice came into Gu Yan's ears. You knew I was coming. Choo-choo-choo-choo. Chewing sounds were heard. Gu Yan smiled lightly. He looked at Xiaoling, who was eating puffs expressionlessly, and said, It's just a man's sixth sense. Ha, sixth sense choo-choo-choo. Xiaoling sneered, then picked up the milk tea beside him and sipped it. Saying as he ate, You feel that I am coming, so you should know why I am coming. Gu Yan looked at Xiaoling, who loved sweets just like Ling Qinyun, and nodded helplessly. Yeah. The dagger was only used twice. But one of my emotions is gone. Although you can't see it now. But I am indeed affected by the power of the night. Hearing this, Xiaoling raised his eyebrows, with a hint of sarcasm at the corner of his mouth. I have already warned you, this is your own fault. Hey. It's too much to say that you only have yourself to blame. I'm just being on the safe side. Gu Yan shrugged. Oh. What? Did you come here just to laugh at me? I have used some means to suppress the erosion of the power of night. But this is not a long-term solution after all, Xiaoling. Do you have any ideas? For example, using that cult book? Gu Yan looked at the other party. He always felt that Xiaoling must have a way. Hearing this, Xiaoling looked at Gu Yan expressionlessly. Who are you to me? Why should I help you? Then give me back the milk tea and the sweets I ate. Xiaoling's eyes twitched, and his expression became even colder. Seeing this, Gu Yan coughed lightly and said, I was just kidding. I was just kidding you there. There's nothing I can do about it. So forget it. I just need to use the dagger less often. Seeing Gu Yan's look, he said, You can do whatever you want. Xiaoling finished drinking the milk tea and sighed softly. I can't stop the power of the night from eroding the unchosen people. Even Xiaozi can't do that, because this is a rule that has been set long ago. If there is, then there is only one way. Having said that, Xiaoling looked at Gu Yan seriously. The latter also listened seriously and quietly. There is only one way. What is it? I don't want to become a Grand Master either. Do I? That is. Xiaoling spoke slowly and seriously. No more daggers. Listening to your words is like listening to a conversation. The corners of Gu Yan's mouth twitched, and he covered his face speechless. Lie. If I could not use it, I wouldn't be so distressed. No one can predict what will happen in the future. But Gu Yan is very sure that he will need to use a dagger in the future. Xiaoling stopped talking and ate sweets quietly. Gu Yan now understood that there seemed to be no other way except becoming a Grand Master and using the power of pure love to control it. In that case, Gu Yan said, Okay, I understand. I will definitely try not to use it. Also, I have to go to a forbidden area in the next 2 days. Hearing this, Xiaoling glanced at the other party and said, First of all, it's not about trying not to use it but making sure to use it. Because every time you use the dagger, the erosion of the power of night will double on your current basis. Next time, there will be more than one emotion lost. Second, what are you doing in the forbidden area? At this point, Xiaoling looked at the black ring on Gu Yan's finger inexplicably. Feed your little things some monsters? Seeing that the other party recognized Claw, Gu Yan no longer concealed it. Gurgile. The claw ring began to change shape, gradually turning into 3 sharp claws emitting gold and dragon energy. which wrapped around Gu Yan's fingers. Gu Yan explained. That's right, the Three Lives Claw can use all the abilities of the person it devours. For the subsequent plan, I need to let it eat more. Chirp. The claws called out in coordination. Chapter 360 for Xiaoling's favorability increased 98. New memories. Oh. Xiaoling reached out his hand, grabbed Gu Yan's finger, and then leaned forward to take a look. Is this the legendary Three Lives Demon Claw? There's actually a certain amount of dragon energy emanating from him. You actually fed this little guy all the important stuff like dragon energy. She raised her head and looked at Gu Yan meaningfully. How did you subdue it? Rely on the power of King Qiu and I's love. It was conquered by the power of pure love. Isn't that the power of love? Oh, forget it. Xiaoling sneered. She looked at the claws a few more times and suddenly frowned. She grabbed Gu Yan's fingers, then looked up at him expressionlessly. You usually feed blood to this little guy? Gu Yan was stunned. The Three Lives Demon Claw had indeed been sucking his blood since the very beginning. After all, the most delicious food for the other party seems to be the blood of its master. Yeah, what's wrong? Gu Yan replied hesitantly. Could there be something wrong here? Xiaoling stopped talking. She just stared at the trembling Sansheng Demon Claw in silence. And he let go of Gu Yan's hand, and there was no emotion in his voice. What a waste of resources. Gu Yan's physique is so special that he actually uses it to feed an ordinary Three Lives Demon Claw. Oh, now after being fed by Gu Yan, the Three Lives Demon Claw has advanced into a more advanced thing. Think of this. Buzz. A black hole in space opened up nearby. Xiaoling raised his right hand. Meow. Yi was caught with a confused look on his face and was held in Xiaoling's arms. Waste of natural resources. Xiaoling, what do you mean? Speaking of which, people are sleeping every night. Gu Yan was somewhat confused about what Xiaoling meant. The latter rubbed Yi's ears and said coldly, Don't bother me. I just want to see how you are raising Yi. As he said that, Xiaoling picked up Yi and stared into each other's eyes for a few seconds. When he noticed a hint of human joy in the other person's eyes when he saw his master, she nodded with satisfaction. Very good. Xiaoling stood up and put Yi down. Then looked at Gu Yan. You can put a little of your blood in Yi's food later. Chirp. Meow. Gu Yan. So I have become a cauldron of nutrients? After Xiaoling said this, Gu Yan guessed, could it be that his blood has some special effects? Because of my pure loving body? Okay, now that you've said that, I'll listen to you this time. Gu Yan nodded, then smiled and said, After all, Yi was adopted by you and me together. Even though I'm the one taking care of it. I don't know why. But Gu Yan always felt that just when he said these words, Xiaoling's expression suddenly became a little strange. As if it was soft? That's good to know. But this change in emotion was short-lived. And Xiaoling returned to his expressionless look again. Then her figure gradually disappeared and her voice reached Gu Yan's ears. Gu Yan, how to control the power of night. There's one more. Actually, if it comes to a last resort, I will help you. The premise is that you still have the desire to complete the plan. Xiaoling leaves. Only these words left Gu Yan stunned. Is there any other way? What is it? From what Xiaoling said, she knows? For some reason, Gu Yan's mood suddenly became complicated. Xiaoling seems becoming less and less like Xiaoling. In the past, she would never have said these words. Why? Gu Yan opened the system panel. Above, it shows the affection between you and your love object. Pure love object favorability, 98. Just now, Xiaoling's favorability increased by 2 again. The memory bubble also gets a fused version again. Just a little bit more according to the system. As long as the favorability reaches 100, then I will know the truth of everything. What is this truth? Gu Yan closed the panel and took out the memory bubble. A familiar aqua blue memory bubble floated in front of him. Gu Yan took a deep breath. Whatever the truth is, I will never waver in the plan I have decided on long ago. Thinking of this, Gu Yan reached out and touched the memory bubble. In an instant, the familiar feeling of weightlessness and fainting came over me. Prince, the prince is born. Congratulations. Ma'am, it's a boy. Quickly let me see. There was a noisy sound in my ears. A memory entered Gu Yan's mind and he slowly opened his eyes. Here it is. What came into view was a woman who looked pale and weak, but had an extraordinary temperament. Gu Yan realized that he was now in the state of a baby. The other person stretched out his hand and placed it next to his face, looking at him tenderly. Gu Yan, just call me Gu Yan. He is the crown prince of the Daqian dynasty. Prince? Gu Yan was stunned, and then a memory emerged in his mind like a narration. This world is called the Great Thousand World, and it has countless sects and powerful dynasties. Among them, the Daqian dynasty was the most powerful. Emperor Qian's cultivation level is the 7th level of immortal. And he is the strongest among the 7 immortals in the world. It's a Preston era. Guyan understood the situation more or less clearly. He was the crown prince of this dynasty. Time passes slowly. Guyan also demonstrated his talent level. Others meet the conditions for cultivation at the age of 8. Guyan, on the other hand, had cultivated true Qi in his mother's womb. In just 8 years, his cultivation had reached the first level of the Earth stage, become the undisputed number one among the younger generation. This memory bubble is very large. Guyan experienced this from the time he was born until he was 8 years old. During this period, he acted entirely on his own initiative, without any forced actions from the plot. However, it was also the day when he was promoted to the first rank on the Earth rank. He saw something that made his scalp tingle. It was a rainy night. Guyan's personal bodyguard presented something. Your Excellency, this is a strange weapon that was confiscated from the assassins. Please let Your Excellency the Crown Prince decide. It was pitch black with strange runes engraved on it, emitting an unknown and strange aura. Most importantly, it's a dagger. Guyan recognized it at the first sight. This is Night. He was about to order the seal to be destroyed immediately. But in the memory, he was forced to stretch out his hand and hold the dagger. He picked it up and held it in front of him to examine it carefully. For a long time, a suppressed sound of excitement came out of Guyan's mouth. Very good, this thing is very good. The corners of Guyan's mouth curled up, and a hint of stern evil appeared in his eyes, obviously bewitched by the dagger. Guyan? No, why is your broken dagger everywhere? Chapter 365 Tragic Memory. When he was 8 years old, Guyan obtained a dagger named Night. Exactly the same as Guyan thought. The power of Night was so strong that Guyan, who was only 8 years old, fell in love with it in an instant. Time passes. On the surface, Guyan is the first prince of the Daqian dynasty. But in secret, a Night King who uses the power of the night to devour all the geniuses at night. A Night King's devouring range ranges from dynasties to sects, and from sects to talented civilians. Anyone targeted by the Night King will be devoured and turned into a dry skin without exception. In an instant, everyone in the world felt in danger. When Guyan experienced this memory, he also discovered some cultivation systems in the universe that were similar to those in the real world. For example, the substance cultivated by people in this world is also true Qi, and you also start your training from a third-rate warrior. But after you break through to the Grand Master level, you will enter a new stage. That is the Immortal stage. There are 5 more stages starting from Grand Master. It is divided into Late Grade, Earth Grade, Heaven Grade, Immortal Grade and Divine Grade. However, from ancient times to the present, no one has ever set foot into the Divine Realm. The highest is only the 7th rank of the Immortal Emperor Qian of the Daqian dynasty. The power of the dagger is terrifying. Guyan believes that with this dagger, he will be able to break through to the Divine Realm that no one in the world has ever reached. However, his strange speed of improvement could not be hidden from Emperor Qian's eyes. One night, Emperor Qian saw through the power of night that was entangled with Guyan, and asked him about the various things he had done to harm the world's geniuses during the days when he was bewitched by the dagger. In an instant, Emperor Qian was furious. Not only did he use the power of immortal items to seal the dagger, he also confined Guyan to the palace and never allowed him to go out. However, Guyan was his son after all, so Emperor Qian did not reveal the fact that the Night King, that caused panic among the world, was actually Guyan. However, the influence of the power of night is still on Guyan. He endured purgatory-like torment every day and night, because he had to keep his original heart, but at the same time, he was often influenced by the power of the night to devour people's souls. In desperation, Emperor Qian secretly invited out the Taoist ancestor of the human race, who was rumored to be able to pacify and purify all evil in the world. And from then on, everything changed. Time flies quickly, and 10 years have passed in a flash. Inside Guyan's residence. Brother Guyan, what's the point of you staying in this big yard all the time? I have followed my master here since I was a child. It seems like it has been almost 10 years, right? A girl with a pair of eyes as bright as the starry sky looked at Guyan with her chin supported by her hands. 10 years of precipitation and the suppression of Dao Ziyi's power almost dissipated the power of night in Guyan. Hearing what the girl beside him said, he couldn't help but chuckle and shook his head. Inqiu, I can't disobey my father's order. Besides, Dingshuju has a beautiful environment. It is a blessing for me to live here. That's right. 10 years ago, Dao Ziyi was accompanied by a little girl named Ling Qingqiu. He is the next successor to the Taoist master, tasked with saving the common people and purifying evil. I can only say my memory is really strange. There are all kinds of plots. Guyan sighed inwardly. This time the memory is very long. It has been a full 18 years since he was born until his growth. He also experienced this period personally, from a genius to being bewitched by the dagger, and then to being suppressed and resisting the dagger's control. This feeling is both tormenting and fun. Ling Qingqiu was a few years younger than him, and now she was also very graceful. She snorted in dissatisfaction. Emperor Qian is a big bad guy. He is going to lock you up here for the rest of your life. Other Guyan, don't worry, when I become a Taoist master in the future, I will definitely rescue you. Guyan became interested after hearing this. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. Qiu, with such a personality, is indeed very cute. He couldn't help but ask jokingly, "Oh, what are you going to do after you rescue me?" As soon as these words came out, Ling Qingqiu's expression was a little stiff. She looked at Guyan, and the other party's smile without saying anything made her heart flutter. For a moment, I couldn't help but lower my head. She paused, her voice a little ashamed. "I just want to be with you." Guyan. What? Guyan came forward and asked deliberately. Ling Qingqiu with such a personality can probably only be seen in memories. Isn't this a good tease? Sure enough, this topic is too embarrassing for a young girl, especially since the other party was the heir of Dao Ziyu. Ling Qingqiu pushed Guyan away in shame and anger, and stood up and shouted, "Nothing. Brother Guyan, you just love to bully me. You clearly know what I feel." Brush. Ling Qingqiu ran away. Guyan looked at the other person's back and couldn't help but chuckle and shook his head. Hey, could this memory have a good ending? However, the memory from not long after that immediately made Guyan realize that he was wrong. And very wrong. Time passes. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Ling Qingqiu would come to chat with Guyan every day, and their relationship grew stronger. Until the 5th year. Ling Qingqiu came to him with a heavy face. He said with a trembling voice, "Guyan, my master is dead? Dead? Dao Ziyu dead?" Guyan was extremely shocked. Dao Ziyu was a powerful immortal, how could he die? Ling Qingqiu lowered his head, clenched his hands tightly, and said in a trembling voice, "The world has been invaded by the demons from outside the domain. All the immortals were slaughtered like pigs and dogs. The Taoist ancestor died in battle, the human ancestor died in battle. The 2 great immortal level masters of the human race both died at the hands of the heavenly demon." Guyan. Ling Qingqiu raised his head, his eyes red as he choked up and said, "I'm going to the front line. Master is dead, and I will take over as the Taoist patriarch. After this, I don't know if I can see you again." Guyan. Goodbye. How could that be? The demon from outer space? What is this? In the memory, Guyan wanted to stop Ling Qingqiu, but he had no other way. Ling Qingqiu can choose to hide here, but the world cannot be without the Taoist ancestor. A month later, Emperor Qian arrived. He looked weak, and what he meant was that Guyan's house arrest had been lifted. In fact, it should have been lifted long ago, but because the demon from outer space was born, Emperor Qian never revealed the matter in order to protect Guyan. But now, the front line suffered a great defeat and he himself was seriously injured. He had no choice but to let Guyan come forward. Now any power is needed by mankind. After more than 10 years of accumulation, Guyan's cultivation had already reached the peak of immortal level. He was already peerless, and the dagger's power only accelerated his growth. Not long after this, Emperor Qian died and Guyan became the emperor of the Da Qian dynasty. Since then, things have taken a new turn. Time passes. Another year, 2 years, 3 years passed. The power of the peak immortal level should not be underestimated. Guyan gradually became the leader of the human race. He led the human race to defeat the extraterritorial demons time and time again. In memory, Guyan has actually figured out what the extraterritorial demon is. That is, the Nether clan. It's just that the Netherworld clan in my memory is even more powerful. Immortals below the level of immortals are no different from ants. Another 5 years passed. With Guyan, the strongest fighting force, Ewans have won every battle. It's as if the human race has found a glimmer of hope in the cracks, and they believe they can hold on. Too many people have died because of the war between humans and demons. The human population has decreased by 90 in these years. Another year has passed. The offensive of the extraterritorial demons weakened. However, just when everyone thought that the human race was about to win, suddenly, a demon from outer space that humans had never seen before appeared. The other person's body blocked out the sun. Because of its huge size, it is so big that it covers half of the world. This is enough to make all creatures in the universe feel the creepy pressure emanating from the other side. Just one finger. That's right. The devil slowly stretched out a finger towards the ground of the universe. The remaining half of the human army was wiped out in an instant. Not only that, the entire world was also shattered into countless fragments. The area where humans live is reduced again. A moment. The situation changed drastically. 1 month later, the front line collapsed and the demons accelerated their invasion. Humanity was driven to the last safe haven, the Dakian dynasty. This place is blessed by the Dakian national destiny and can temporarily resist the attack of the demons. Of course, the most important thing is that the terrifying demon from before did not appear again. What to do? What to do? Long-term plot memory. Guyan couldn't tell whether this was reality or just a memory. Too many people died in front of him. Those are living people with flesh and blood. However, they are all dead. Inside the Kingshu residence of the Dakian dynasty, Guyan's face looked extremely haggard. He was now the strongest fighter on the human side. However, it is still not even 1% of the power of the demon back then. The future and hope of mankind all rest on him. Guyan was almost driven crazy by all this pressure. But he has been unable to break through to the divine level. The demons are outside and the only remaining humans are inside. Guyan no longer knew how to break this situation. Just at this moment. Use me. Use me. A series of strange sounds came into Guyan's ears. He suddenly woke up, and in a trance, he seemed to see the dagger from that year appear in his hand. He held the opponent in his hand and was invincible in slaying demons and eliminating evil. Use me. The temptation of the night continues, and the power of the night that once existed in Guyan has not completely dissipated. Surprisingly, it reappeared again. Use the power of the night. You can save the world. Plop, plop, plop. Guyan's heart was beating rapidly. He knows where the dagger is sealed as long as he gets the dagger. Guyan. There was a panic sound in my ears. Guyan suddenly woke up and raised his head. Ling Qingqiu was looking at him with a worried look on his face. Then looking around. He was actually lying on the bed? Guyan, are you okay? Ling Qingqiu supported Guyan and said worriedly. You fainted in King Shuju. Are you too tired recently? Her tone was distressed. Guyan was now the leader of the human side. And one could imagine how much pressure he was under. I'm sorry, I'm the Taoist, but I can't do anything for you. Ling Qingqiu's voice trembled when she said this. She grabbed the other person's arm and choked up. Guyan. Don't worry about it, we can't win, let's run away. If you continue like this, you will be driven to death by the pressure sooner or later. I want to live with you for the last few days. However, Qingqiu, I'm sorry. I can't do that. Guyan shook his head. He stretched out his hand and rubbed Ling Qingqiu's head. Smiling and said, I am now the last hope of the human race. If I run away, the human race will perish. So no. It's okay, I'll take care of everything. Chapter 366 Return to Reality. The Origin of the World. On that day, Guyan broke the seal on the dagger and grasped the night again. A moment. The situation has been reversed again. The power of night is like the poison of the outer demon, which can kill you at the first touch. With the dagger and his cultivation at the peak of immortal level, Guyan is invincible like a ghost or god. Countless demons were slain. Countless souls were devoured. As expected, with the help of the dagger's power, Guyan broke through to the divine level. The demons were gradually defeated, and human dwellings were gradually taken down. Humanity has ushered in the dawn of hope. However, behind this, but it is endless pain, because every time he uses the dagger, Guyan will absorb a large amount of monster souls. Negative emotions such as mania, sadness, depression, and bloodthirsty memories all flooded into Guyan's mind. Every time he uses the dagger, the power of the night in him doubles. Gradually his spirit gradually reached the brink of collapse. But no one knew about this. Except Ling Qingqiu. Guyan. Stop using the dagger. If you continue like this, you will die. Ling Qingqiu stopped Guyan, who was about to go out for battle again. And stopped him with red eyes. Only she understood what the so-called Emperor Qian's divine artifact that Guyan used was. That was the evil weapon that was sealed by the previous Emperor Qian. Every time it was used, it would bring indelible scars to the user. Guyan had used the dagger too many times and absorbed too much soul. How painful must he be at this moment? No. Guyan looked forward. Holding the dagger, this battle is a crucial one. If we win, we humans can take back the central city. Ling Qingqiu grabbed Guyan's hand and shouted in despair. Your eyes are almost blind. Yes, that's the price of using a dagger. Guyan was silent, and the things in front of him became blurry. After this time, I will probably be completely blind. But Guyan did not regret it. This battle is the most crucial one. Ignoring Ling Qingqiu's calls behind him, he embarked on the road to war. With the help of the dagger, as expected, the human side won. Humans gained new homes, new food and water. But the price was that Guyan became blind. And can't use dagger anymore. Because he has entered the second stage of the dagger. If he wants to use it, he must pay a new price. Moreover, this use will enable Guyan to gain the power to decide the outcome of the battle. At the same time, Guyan will be able to perfectly control the dagger. And all previous side effects will disappear. However, When Gu Yan learned the price, he gave up. In his memory, Gu Yan sealed the dagger again. After humans had enjoyed peace for several months, the demon army attacked again. In the first battle, humans narrowly won. In the second battle, the demonic legion dispatched a more powerful legion force, and humans lost the central city again. The third battle, a desperate scene happened. A demon from outside the world who shattered the world with one finger has appeared again. Gu Yan, it's time for you to make a decision. Impossible. Gu Yan, for the sake of all mankind, you should sacrifice Dao Ziyu. You are our leader, you are the hope of all mankind. On the eve of the battle, countless survivors forced Gu Yan to make a choice. They already knew the secret of the dagger. In other words, someone was bewitched by the dagger and revealed the secret. I also understood the conditions for how to restore Gu Yan's sight. That is, let the dagger absorb Dao Ziyu's heart blood. Gu Yan closed his eyes and rejected them coldly. Shut up. If we want to let Dao Ziyu die in exchange for this false peace, it's better to let the human race be destroyed. The human race would rather die standing than sacrifice their companions for hope. His voice revealed determination and coldness. Even without that dagger, I, Gu Yan, can still annihilate the demons. Under pressure from Gu Yan, the matter came to nothing. Not surprisingly, the human side was defeated, and the human army was annihilated. Gu Yan was rescued with serious injuries. The demon fought his way into the border of the Daqian dynasty. The reason for such a tragedy is not only the huge gap in strength, but also there is a traitor on the human side. But this was not what made Gu Yan despair. But, my lord, this is a dagger that absorbed Dao Ziyu's heart blood. A subordinate tremblingly handed the dagger that should have been sealed to Gu Yan, who had just woken up. Gu Yan held the dagger, his expression frozen. Gu Yan, don't be soft-hearted. This was Dao Ziyu's own voluntary sacrifice. Gu Yan, has your strength recovered? Gu Yan, save humanity. Gu Yan. Grown-ups. Gu Yan could no longer hear the noise coming from his ears. A feeling of despair and collapse gradually filled Gu Yan's heart. His mind went blank and his ears were ringing. Pain. Alternating pain. Gu Yan felt as if he was almost unable to breathe. Bang! As the door was pushed open, Gu Yan collapsed and used his perception to sense Ling Qingyu's body lying in Qingshu residence. Ling Qingyu is dead. She did it voluntarily or was forced to do it. Gu Yan no longer wanted to think about anything. Because Ling Qingyu is dead, and when I learned about this situation, a moment, the blood of the beloved has been absorbed. Conditions fulfilled. You will become the strongest in this world. A bewitching voice from the dagger entered Gu Yan's mind. At the same time, his breath climbed and his vision returned. However, when looking at the corpse lying on the ground, Gu Yan's vision became blurred again. He rushed forward, hugged Ling Qingyu's body and cried heartbreakably. Gu Yan collapsed. One day, only, the demon army broke into the palace of the Daqian dynasty. Countless humans were massacred. Everyone wanted Gu Yan to come forward and save them. However, Gu Yan disappeared. The last human position was destroyed. 1 month later, when Gu Yan appeared again, the demon army was swept away and destroyed by the huge power of night. But that's not all. The world flashed black. As the black light flickered, a world gradually disappeared into the vast universe. All living things including Gu Yan were all destroyed. Gu Yan destroyed the only remaining universe in the entire cultivation system, directly cutting off the possibility of all future generations becoming immortals. He destroyed the foundation of the world. Yan has completely despaired of this world. He no longer wanted to think about anything. Brush. A feeling of weightlessness came over me. Gu Yan took a deep breath and straightened up. He looked around at the familiar bedroom. His eyes looked very dazed. He covered his chest, tears streaming down his face uncontrollably. Got it, he got it. It turns out all the memories of previous experiences are memories of small worlds split from the big universe, and the world he is currently in. It is also a small world that was scattered out of the world that was shattered by the extraterritorial demon, in the vast universe. And why does he experience these worlds again and again? And why can't I be truly together with Ling Qingyu every time? What is the secret behind this? At the last moment, the terrifying demon from outside the domain did not appear. Who is it? Who is manipulating all this behind the scenes? Now the dagger has returned to his hands again after going around in circles. So what will happen next? Xiaoling is Ling Qingyu, or Ling Qingyu is Xiaoling. Gu Yan is completely confused. At the same time, Ling family. Xiaoling stood at the window with a dazed look in his eyes, and a line of tears was slowly sliding down from the corners of his eyes. She murmured in a low voice, "It is like this." Xiaoling seemed to see more memories, and she seemed to understand something. Understand who I am. Understand the meaning of my existence. She gradually came to her senses and reached out to cover her chest. There are a lot more emotions there. The truth is this. Oh, it is true. It makes people feel sad. Chapter 367, Devouring Growth in the Forbidden Land. 2 days later. Forbidden Area No. 5. The bloody aura filled the entire forbidden area. The sky was covered by dark clouds, and a surging sea of blood kept passing through the forbidden area. Countless monsters are crawling in the depths of Forbidden Land No. 5. These monsters have various shapes. Some are as huge as giant beasts. Some are as ethereal as ghosts, and each one exudes a heart-pounding malice. However, at this moment, they all raised their heads trembling looking excitedly at the figure standing in the sky. It was a tall and majestic figure wrapped in a bloody airflow. He seemed to be covered in blood-red armor, and exuded an endless murderous aura. The space around them began to tremble due to the enormous force. Guyan closed his eyes and took a deep breath. As he breathed, the monsters around him seemed to be drawn by an invisible force, moving closer to him one after another. Inside his body, claws tirelessly devoured all valuable monsters in the forbidden area. He whispered, as if reciting an ancient spell, "Gather, devour, merge." With each word, the monsters began to transform. Their bodies twisted and disintegrated, eventually turning into black and red smoke that continuously flowed towards Guyan. This process is horrifying, but the monster is very excited. Their roars and screams echoed in the air as their power gathered. A huge black vortex formed around Guyan's body. The powerful attraction made more monsters unable to resist, and they all fell into it. Guyan's body seemed to have become the center of a black hole, with endless power gathering, colliding, and merging in his body. His face became increasingly clear in the darkness, and the eyes revealed under the blood-red armor did not belong to a normal species, but it was a pair of divine eyes emitting a dark red glow. In the Forbidden High Tower, 2 figures were watching all this. A giant silver wolf and a humanoid monster, wearing clothes with strange patterns. Wang Yiling looked up at the king of the underworld, who was standing in the sky and constantly devouring monsters. Her expression was solemn and her hands were clenched tightly together. It was too terrifying. Even though they were at such a distance, she could still feel the creepy oppressive force coming from the other person. Is this the king of monsters? Seeing this, the silver giant wolf on the side showed excitement in its eyes. Yin Yu knelt down at the top of the tower and whispered softly, "Lan, this is one of the abilities of our king. You can gain greater power by devouring species." Back then, our entire clan transformed into the power of the king and fought together. Hearing this, Wang Yilan looked at Yin Yu. "Are you willing to be devoured?" Hearing this, Yin Yu raised her head proudly. "It is our honor to be the power of the king. Of course, in the end, the king will free our souls and place them in new bodies." After hearing this, Wang Yilan nodded silently. Since it merged with the energy of the flower god and became a new form of monster. She also learned about the king of the underworld in the forbidden area. For example, the other party has the ability to easily control the life and death of others. Store the soul in the body and release it when the time is right. The body is just a shell that can be replaced at any time. As long as the soul is immortal, it can live forever. If so, Wang Yilan felt a little excited. My own mother. Can she also be resurrected through this method? There is just one thing that Wang Yilan is not clear about. That is her mother's soul still in this world? On Guyan's side, the huge momentum gradually subsided. The 2-day-long devouring was over. Congratulations to Claw for devouring 19,999 monsters. Congratulations to Claw for obtaining the ability, Monster Control. Monster Control can influence all monsters in the world that are weaker than oneself and make them submit. Congratulations to Claw for obtaining a new ability, Flame Breath. Congratulations to Claw for obtaining a new ability, Super Speed Regeneration. Congratulations to Claw for obtaining the new ability Heart, Shadow Stealth. Congratulations to Paw for gaining Resistance, Oxen Resistance. Congratulations to Claw for obtaining a new ability, Counter Attack. Congratulations to Pawpaw for winning. The claws cover the host, and the host can also gain equal strength and use its abilities. The system prompt sounded in Guyan's mind. He closed his eyes, taking in his newfound abilities. In his consciousness, there seemed to be a huge net connecting all the swallowed monsters together. He could feel their excitement, anger, fear, even their memories and abilities. After this swallowing, Guyan's strength has improved by more than 1 level compared to before. He had an idea. Buzz. His figure turned into a shadow and disappeared into the air in an instant. Try not to use the power of night. So Guyan thought of the second alternative. It is to gain the power of monsters by devouring them. This movement method is not much different from the movement method of Night Force. What was lost was just a little bit of true energy. Brush. The figure flashed and came to the tower. Your Majesty. Yin Yu lowered his head, his tone full of respect and excitement. It could feel that the Lord of the Underworld had become more powerful than ever before. Wang Yelin placed her hands on her chest and bent slightly. Since he has become a monster, he needs the power of the King of the Underworld. Well, I am still willing to do this kind of thing. Gu Yan was wearing netherworld armor at this time, and he exuded the evil aura unique to monsters. He glanced at Wang Yelin. He said in a deep voice, "You changed your name to Lan? Does this mean that you are ready to completely abandon your human identity?" Wang Yelin paused after hearing this, then nodded calmly. Yes. After becoming a monster, Wang Yelin changed her name to Lan. Gu Yan no longer dwelled on this point, but continued. The world has changed, dramatically. The fall of the Shenlong in Xuanwu. 2 of the 4 sacred beasts are dead. The people who did this are all Night Kings. Chapter 368 The Soul of Wang Yilin's Mother. As soon as these words came out, Wang Yilin frowned. Night King? She had heard this name countless times here. But I have never seen it before. Is the other party really strong? Upon hearing this, Yin Yu's expression changed drastically. And her voice trembled. Why I Wang? This bastard is actually here in the world. Your Majesty, what should we do then? Since the War of the Ancients, the Night King has always been the greatest enemy of the Nether clan. Because the opponent's ability can perfectly restrain their Netherworld clan. Seeing this, Gu Yan said in a deep voice, "Don't panic. I have thought of a solution. Our Netherworld clan is powerful. But only a few of us have actually broken through the Netherworld prison and come to the secular world. I have learned that there are 5 forbidden places in the world today. 3 are in the East Country, and 2 are in the West Country. Speaking of..." Gu Yan stretched out his left hand, which was wrapped in black and red armor. Buzz. 4 light balls emitting a strange aura slowly floated in front of Wang Yilin and Yin Yu. Those within the forbidden area are our companions. Plant the Netherworld seed in the center of the forbidden area. I can connect the 5 forbidden areas and use their power to gather all the monsters in the world. Only in this way can we fight against the Night King. Hearing this, Wang Yilin pinched the seed of the underworld and felt endless death from it. This thing is really weird, and only someone like the King of the Underworld can make it with ease. Yes, my lord. Yin Yu replied immediately. Completed the explanation. Gu Yan prepared to leave. But, Your Majesty, I would like to know the answer to a question. Wang Yilin called out to Gu Yan. The latter stopped and looked at the other party. Next second, Wang Yilin asked seriously, Your Majesty, do you have a way to revive someone who has been dead for a long time? Do you want to ask about her mother? Gu Yan replied in a deep voice. Oh, as long as the soul is not dispersed, it will be easy as pie. Wang Yilin. She clenched her hands and asked unwillingly. After a person dies, will the soul naturally dissipate? The answer is yes. And this is indeed the case. Gu Yan can devour and store the souls of people who have just died. But he had no way to deal with the souls of creatures that had been dead for too long. But not necessarily. Maybe when his cultivation level improves, he will be able to extract souls from the soul fairy place? Looking at the silent king of the underworld, Wang Yelin was suddenly filled with grief. Could it be that my own mother? But just thought of this. Gu Yan said in a deep voice, for others, it is naturally as difficult as ascending to heaven. But I am the king of the underworld. The king of souls. Hearing this, Wang Yilin was startled, staring blankly at the king of the underworld who was emitting a strange aura in front of her. What this sentence means is my mother can still be saved. See this scene. Gu Yan raised his hand. Puzz. His face cracked or opened. A figure of Tao Ying from Peach Blossom Club walked out from it. She was very panicked at first, but when she saw Wang Yilin, she became extremely happy. Yilin. Momo Sakura. Gu Yan's figure gradually disappeared. And his voice reached Wang Yilin's ears. When everything is settled, you will see the person you miss in your heart. These words kept lingering in Wang Yilin's mind. She took a deep breath and her eyes gradually became firm. Mom, I will definitely save you. And Shaolin, I will definitely kill you too. Yin Yu sighed at the side. Don't be sad, Lan, the king will definitely save your mother. It said with some sigh. It is really fate strict that the heir of the Dragon King Palace is also dead. Or was he killed by the Night King? Dragon King Palace. Heir? Wang Yilin looked at Yin Yu suddenly. What did you say? Didn't the Lord King say that after the death of the Shenlong in Xuanwu, the Shenlong will be placed in the body of the heir of the Dragon King Palace? Yin Yu was a little confused what happened to Lan. Didn't he hear what the king said just now? Good. Wang Yilin was silent. Isn't the heir to the Dragon King Palace Shaolin? Shaolin died. By own revenge. No, Wang Yilin took a deep breath. She gradually became clear-headed, and now she only had to do one thing. That is follow the king of the Netherworld, and then beg him to revive his mother. The forbidden area of the West, okay? I will definitely complete the task assigned by the king. Leave the forbidden area. Gu Yan shuttled through the shadows. The questions Wang Yelin asked echoed in my mind. He understood that the other party wanted to resurrect his mother. He had devised a plan to lure Shaolin into piercing the other person's mother's body. That's why a series of subsequent events occurred. Of course, Gu Yan did not regret it. After all, if Wang Yelin stood on Shaolin's side, it would harm the villains in their setting. Only, Gu Yan raised his hand. Chirp. Shui poked his head out and looked at Gu Yan in confusion. The latter senses the soul stored in the claw's body. He could feel the countless soul storage spaces densely packed within Claw's body. There is an ordinary middle-aged female soul. That's right. This is the soul of Wang Yilin's mother. At that time, Wang Yilin's mother was hit by someone and became a vegetable and unconscious. According to the original plot, he was supposed to be killed completely by the people of Peach Blossom Society in order to allow Wang Yilin, who possessed the aura of the flower god, to join the Peach Blossom Society. But with Gu Yan's intervention, the other person's soul was preserved. He retracted his claws. Sigh softly. Too many people will die for the sake of the plan. It's okay to be misunderstood or misunderstood. Got through so many memories. Especially the latest memories. Gu Yan had actually guessed something to some extent. Heavenly Tao, Night King, System, Evil Classic. Ling King Qiu and his countless reincarnations. Looking back at each memory, Gu Yan discovered a common point. That is, myself and Ling King Qiu were in love, but neither of them had a happy ending. He tried hard to be with Ling King Qiu, but was always hindered by various things. The latest memory. That powerful extraterritorial demon always appears at the most critical moment and then suddenly disappears. There is definitely someone behind all this. Gu Yan didn't know how many reincarnations and how many worlds he had experienced. He had a hunch. This world. Maybe this is his last world. It also means that this is his last chance. In other words, even if this is not his last chance, he should treat it as his last chance and try his best. The strange stone statues on Long Wang Mountain had already clearly explained the matter of heaven. The system had previously said that he had concealed the way of heaven, allowing his physical body to pass through. Slave of heaven. Heaven. The mastermind behind this Isis god? It seemed as if both him and Ling King Qiu were being targeted by heaven. Perhaps by completing the last memory puzzle, I will be able to know the truth. No matter what the truth is. This time, in this world, I must be with Ling King Qiu in the true sense. Even the laws of nature cannot stop me. Yeah. Gu Yan jumped and rushed towards the Ling family. Today is the last day of this year. TSK, the time in memory seems to be too long. If I didn't have the body of pure love and strong mental strength, I would probably have forgotten the time of this world. Chapter 316. Ling Linger's talent. King Qiu is about to rise. Ling family. Main entrance. Rush. As the black shadows gathered, Gu Yan's figure appeared here. He walked forward and was about to knock on the door to enter. But he seemed to sense something, and his tone was a little surprised. Ah, is this Linger's breath? The backyard at this time. Wow, sister, look at me. Roar. Ling Linger was suspended in the air, with golden light shining all around her, and 9 golden dragons were circling and roaring around her. Their bodies seemed to be made of gold, and every scale shines with dazzling light. The golden dragon tumbled in the air. Every swing of its tail brought up a gust of wind, and every roar made the earth tremble. Meteorite clapped and shouted excitedly. 9 Dragons Supreme. It's actually the 9 Dragons Supreme. Lord Dragon King, your talent surpasses all previous Dragon Kings. Bi Quan Lan and Ning Qian were also there. They looked at each other in surprise. His sister Linger is so scary. Bi Quan Lan swallowed and fought. Could she catch up? Ning Qian was also very impressed. Is this sister Linger's talent? He is actually the new Dragon King. Could this be the fate between me and Sister Linger? Ling King Qiu stood where he was. Just fell silent. Just 2 days. Ling Linger has already broken through to become a post-tatal warrior. Ling Linger, who just started practicing, is actually a genius. The supreme skill of the Dragon King Palace, 9 Revolutions Divine Dragon skill, which previous Dragon Kings were unable to fully comprehend. Ling Linger actually learned it in one go. And during his first practice he was able to summon 9 phantoms of divine dragons, using the 9 Revolutions Divine Dragon technique. Yes. My sister Linger has the potential to be a master. Ling King Qiu was both shocked and relieved. From this point of view, Ling Linger can definitely become one of the strongest people in the world. This meant she didn't have to worry about whether Linger would be bullied in the future. At this time, Linger is now the next day. This kid has quite a talent. Gu Yan's voice appeared in the yard. Ling King Qiu was stunned. She sensed the presence of Gu Yan, who suddenly appeared from behind. Guyan seems to have become better at hiding his aura. Even with my own perception, I have to get so close to feel it. This means it tests not just Linger and myself these 2 days. Even Guyan is constantly getting stronger, and at an extremely exaggerated speed. Brother-in-law. Seeing this, Linger dispersed the golden dragon and landed on the ground with a cool look on her face. She crossed her arms and raised her chin. Brother-in-law, I will catch up with you in a few days. Guyan stood beside Qingqiu and nodded gently. Indeed, from now on, your sister and I will have to rely on you to protect us. Hey, that's right. Also, why would I want to drive a motorcycle in the future? I want to ride a big golden dragon. Linger nodded in a swollen tone. You say you are a genius. Considering how arrogant I, Zhang Chai Lang, am, it is only a matter of time before I become a grand master. Oh, cultivation is so easy. Linger, don't be so confident. There are many people in this world who are more talented than you. There are so many geniuses in the ancient martial arts world. And one day someone suddenly realized and broke through to the innate level. But none of them grew up after all. A dead genius is no longer a genius. Qingqiu interrupted Linger's daydream with a serious tone. Although Linger has good talent, accidents might happen if she maintains this mentality. Unless you reach a new level every day. Otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. I understand. Sister. Linger was a little scared by what she said. But it be that my talent is not actually very high in the whole world? That's right. My sister told me that there is a place called Ancient Martial Arts World in this world. It enjoys unique geographical advantages, so it will definitely breed more strong people and geniuses. My talent might not even rank in front of theirs. No, I can't be so arrogant. I need to improve my cultivation level. Thinking of this, she took Ning Qian and Bai Quan Lan's hands and said, Come on, accompany me to practice. Lord Dragon King, wait for me. Several people went to another place to practice. Qingqiu and Guyan finally quieted down. Guyan also took Qingqiu's hand and said with some sigh, Qingqiu, long time no see. I really miss you, and it's been a long time since we last met. The flow of time in memory and in the real world is different. He stayed in the memory for decades. When he came out again, he felt that his mentality had changed. I always feel a little dazed. 2 days of absence is considered a long time no see. What are you busy with these days? Qingqiu couldn't help but smile gently as she listened to Guyan's words. I'm busy with everything, come on, let's talk while we walk. Guyan held Qingqiu's hand, and the two walked side by side in the yard. It is winter now, the weather is cold, and most of the flowers, plants and trees have withered and died. In the past, when Qingqiu still had a dagger, her physique allowed her to be fearless of both extreme heat and severe cold. But now, Guyan clenched Qingqiu's hand, the other's palm was no longer cold. It had a hint of human body temperature. This change made Guyan feel that his efforts were not in vain. The two of them walked while chatting. When it comes to key issues, he replied ambiguously, I've been busy improving my strength recently. After all, everyone will be a warrior soon. By then, there will be many talented people, and Qingqiu, you will be the leader. If I don't work harder, I'm afraid we're going to fall behind. Qingqiu raised his lips when he heard this. Bah! What can a blind man like me do? Now Linger is the real martial arts genius. Guyan smiled and shook his head. Qingqiu, you are a genius among geniuses for being able to create your own unique method of using mental power. It is equivalent to creating a new cultivation system. Qingqiu, if you join the warrior department, you will definitely be the brightest star in the department. The speaker may not mean it, but the listener may take it seriously. Qingqiu had actually discussed joining the warrior department with Xiao Lang a long time ago, but no actual action has been taken. Guyan said this at this time. It made her react suddenly. Guyan, does he want her to join the warrior department? Why, he took the dagger away and asked me to join the warrior department. He became the Night King. Doesn't Guyan know the price of becoming the Night King? The warrior forces all over the world will rise up to attack. Qingqiu's heart sank. She always felt that something bad would happen in the future. She clenched Guyan's hand, wondering if it was her illusion. Qingqiu always feels. At this moment, the temperature of Guyan's palm seemed to become colder than before. And, Guyan, you've changed. Guyan was stunned for a moment. Then a smile appeared on his face and he asked, what changed? The two men stopped. Qingqiu opened his eyes and looked at Guyan's life essence seriously. In her perception, although Guyan's life essence is still dazzling, but Qingqiu keenly realized that it was only 2 days. Guyan seemed to have experienced something major. It made him hide more things in his heart. She pursed her lips gently and said, You no longer love me. Guyan was stunned and asked in confusion, Qiu, what did you say? What happened to Qiu? How could I not love her? But it be because I haven't been here for the past 2 days? Disappointed Leng Qiu? However, after Leng Qiu hesitated for a moment, she held Gu Yan's hand, raised her head, and said in a low voice with a ruddy face, because, until now, there is no one here. But you still act so calm. If it were any other time, Gu Yan would have already started to touch her. But now, Gu Yan has indeed changed. And after Leng Qiu said this, the atmosphere froze for a moment. Leng Qiu suddenly realized that what he had just said was somewhat ambiguous. I immediately wanted to explain. I didn't mean that. The sound stopped abruptly. Gu Yan's Qiu desire arose. Chapter 370 New Year's Eve Party, Warriors Are Real. Evening. Brother-in-law, sister, what happened to you two? Leng Linger looked at Gu Yan and Leng Qiu, who were holding hands and had unnatural expressions. With confusion. I don't know if it was her illusion, but I always felt that the relationship between these two people seemed to have become better. Gu Yan coughed lightly. It's okay, kid, don't ask too many questions. Leng Qiu did not look at Gu Yan either, and said sternly, Linger, aren't you practicing? Is your practice over? Leng Linger shrank her neck when she heard this. Didn't you say you were going to the Gu family tonight to celebrate the new year? And my brother-in-law Yun Xing and Ning Qian have nowhere to go. Guanlan's father is out on a business trip, and there's no one at home. Leng Linger cast her eyes on Gu Yan. Brother-in-law, can I bring them along? Oh, yes. Gu Yan realized that he had told Lao Gao that he would pick them up in the evening. It was about time, and after spending some time being affectionate with Qiu, I had forgotten about this matter. He looked at Leng Linger, and at Ning Qian, Yun Xing and Bai Quanlan who were staring at Leng Linger eagerly. TSK, this guy, is he going to start a harem to replace Shaolin? The corner of Gu Yan's mouth twitched, then he thought for a moment and looked at Bai and Xuanlan and the others, and said with a smile, then you all come together. It will be more lively with more people. The car is outside. Just go there. Hearing this, Leng Linger smiled and pulled the two of them and ran out. Yeah, brother-in-law, you are the best. See, Gu Yan agrees. Leng Qiu smiled helplessly. Come to think of it, Linger was full of hostility towards you when she first met you. Hearing this, Gu Yan took Leng Qiu and followed. Aha, I think I can understand Linger. Oh, Gu Yan, you also have a biological sister? No. Gu Yan held Leng Qiu's hand tightly, looked at her, and said softly, if we have a child in the future, and it's a daughter, and I will also be hostile to the bastard who kidnapped our daughter. Daughter? Child? As soon as these words were spoken, Leng Qiu's face turned red in an instant. From a biological point of view, to have a child is through the union of sperm and egg. Why did Gu Yan say this so suddenly? Could it be that Gu Yan wants to do that kind of thing? How did you come up with this? Xiaoling suddenly jumped out and said coldly. That must be it. The temperature of Leng Qiu's face rose rapidly. Qiu? All the way into the car. Leng Qiu's mind was still full of random thoughts. Xiaoling, what should I do? I have never learned this. I don't know how to do it. So, why do you think of this? No, I need to look in the books first to see how it is done. Oh yes, there should be similar plots in romance novels. I can learn from them. What do you think, Xiaoling? So could you please listen to what others are saying? Well, that's all Gu Yan's fault, he made me become so weird. All the way to Gu's house. Leng Qiu finally came to his senses. While Leng Linger and others entered the house, she shamefully grabbed Gu Yan's hand and whispered tremblingly, No, Gu Yan, we have to wait until we get married before we can have a baby. That's right. Think and ask. Leng Qiu felt that she was still not ready. After saying that, she let go of Gu Yan and went into the house. Gu Yan, have a baby? Get married? What is Qiu talking about? Gu Yan thought about it and suddenly remembered what he had just said, and his expression froze. Wait a minute. Qiu means, after marriage, you can do that kind of thing? Yes. Gu Yan realized something and quickly followed, shouting, Qiu, let's get married today. That night, the mansion of the Gu family was filled with a warm and harmonious atmosphere. The soft light shines on the carefully arranged furniture, and every detail reveals the warmth of home. Leng Linger was very good at creating an atmosphere, making Sumu Rong and Gu Chunming laugh so hard that they couldn't stop. After dinner, living room, Gu Yan sat on a comfortable sofa, surrounded by Leng Qiu and others. Chai Town, your mother and I are going on a trip tomorrow. I'll leave this house to you. Gu Chunming sat on the other side and spoke to Gu Yan earnestly. The latter nodded helplessly. Yes, Dad, you and Mom have fun. Ever since Gu Yanming stepped down from his position as the patriarch of the Gu family, he has become increasingly undisguised in his desire to break away from Su Murong. Su Murong held Lang Qingyu's hand and said with a smile, "Qingyu, the Gu family will be vacant while we are away. If you have nothing to do, you can come and stay with Shai Kaun." Hearing this, Lang Qingyu seemed to have thought of the pre-Amarity agreement she had mentioned to Gu Yan before. Her face turned red for a moment, and she stammered, "I know, Mom. Bah, brother-in-law, look at this year's New Year's Eve party. It's really interesting. If you don't know, you might think it's a warrior performing on it." Lang Linger pointed at the TV and said with great interest. Gu Yan glanced at the TV when he heard this. In fact, this world also has a New Year's Eve party similar to the one in Gu Yan's previous world. Its programs are not much different from the previous world. A host gives an opening speech, followed by a series of performances according to the program. But this time the content of the New Year's Eve party is a little strange. First of all, there were obviously fewer audience members than in previous years, and their eyes were filled with a strong sense of solemnity. The content of the show is even more bizarre. One moment, there was an aerial performance by a flying man rising from the ground without any preparation. One moment there was a show of ferocious beast fighting with bodies as big as hills. After a while, there was another colorful fire show. A wide range of program content has led to a continuous increase in ratings. What's even more amazing is, all the channels on TV were broadcasting the same program. Gu Yan seemed to have guessed something. His expression gradually became serious, and his eyes gradually became subtle. Finally, is it coming? Time passes. When the clock strikes midnight, a New Year's Eve party has come to an end. But unlike the usual ending that everyone expected, a resolute man in a white uniform with a star emblem on his chest appeared in the picture. There was a microphone in front of him. Soon, the other party's heavy voice was also transmitted to the live broadcast channel across the country. There is another side to this world. Warriors are real. Thus, the second year began. Gu Yan took a deep breath, and his next plan could be officially implemented. Chapter 371. The Implementation of Universal Warriors. New Year. A message of explosion spread all over the world. The warriors' information was completely unblocked. Everyone knows the other side of this world. All major media outlets released information about warriors, and warrior forums officially entered the public eye. All vlog trending searches have been replaced, and all entertainment news has been removed from the shelves. Information about warriors released by major official media appeared on the short video platform. Everyone was shocked. It turns out that this world is not as simple as they imagined. Early the next morning, family-oriented, Gu Yan drank black tea leisurely as he looked at the trending headlines on his phone. The first one is, "What is a warrior? What is the ancient martial arts world?" Following closely is, "Shock, the contents of the novel came true. On whether a person can become a warrior. Relationships between warrior factions." From top to bottom, all the hot search columns are about warriors without exception. The world has changed drastically. Not only the East Country, but even the West Country has made information about warriors public. Gu Yan watched a few more short videos. Countless warrior videos released by official accounts made it clear to everyone. This is not a joke, this is real. Open the comments section. I'm so excited, I actually saw an official account saying that there are warriors in this world. The above, not only that, there are monsters, look at monster. GEF. Let's be honest, can we also practice and become warriors? That makes sense. 1-2, the whole world is evolving. And we are the only ones left behind, right? Officially. You are invincible. What a joke, this is so sudden. Why did the authorities suddenly announce this? My child's cram school is suspended today. I want to complain to you guys for making such a joke. Are you crazy? It's already this time and you're still thinking about cram school? Comrade parent, you are also invincible. No, why have the prices in my small supermarket increased so much? Why is it like the end of the world is coming? Yes, I checked the food delivery platform. A bag of salt is 10 yuan. A pack of instant noodles is 30. I guess this is not a tourist attraction. The official has said that all social activities will be suspended today. And a press conference will be held at noon to formally explain why the warrior information is being unblocked now. At that time, they should also give a response to the issue of rising prices. I hope so. Hope 1. Expectation 2. Close the video software. Gu Yan already knew to some extent the public's acceptance of warriors. First, this is due to the rise of short videos in various film, television dramas and novels. Therefore it seems that it is not so difficult for most people to accept that there is another side to this world. But there are also people who do not accept this reality. They feel that a peaceful and stable world is the ideal world. and the addition of unstable factors such as warriors and monsters will disrupt their existing tranquility. So their idea is that even though there is another side to this world, they would rather not know about such things, and would rather be kept in the dark for their entire lives and die peacefully. I believe that many people do have this idea. This was also the original intention of the warrior department. But it is a pity that the Night King incident and the Forbidden Land incident led to a serious shortage of manpower. That's why the warrior department had to make this decision. Gu Yan smiled slightly. Very good, everything is going according to plan. And you can start taking action yourself. Think of this. Gu Yan spoke softly, with a hint of inexplicable meaning in his eyes. Lao Gao, let you two and the others get ready. Today at noon. I am going to show up. Rear. Lao Gao seemed to have understood why the young master had done this. He nodded and said, "Okay, young master." A magical phenomenon occurred at noon. The whole society stopped functioning. Everyone is gathered in front of the TV or their cell phones, quietly waiting for a live broadcast that concerns the entire society. The local logistics warriors began to walk the streets looking for people who could not watch the live broadcast and gathered them together. Make sure everyone knows how the world is changing. Ling family. Gu Yan, Ling Linger and Ling Qingqiu sat in front of the living room. Sister, I'm so nervous. Why does the world seem to have changed? Is it because of my practice? Ling Linger felt a little nervous. Was it because she was the protagonist? Is that why the world changes drastically once you practice? I won't encounter many crises that only the protagonists will encounter. Right? Ling Qingqiu chuckled speechlessly after hearing this and said, "It's a good thing for people to be self-confident. A proposal to turn everyone into a warrior has actually been passed a long time ago. It just happened to be announced on New Year's Eve." "Oh, huh? So you and your husband already knew about this? I was the only one who didn't know." Ling Linger was yelling in a chirping voice. Gu Yan smiled, put his arm around Ling Qingqiu's shoulders, and said with a smile, "Children don't need to know too much about this kind of thing. I thought your sister and I would protect you, but I never thought you would be dragged into this." When Ling Linger heard this, she understood that Gu Yan was talking about the incident in which a man in black came to the Ling family and attacked them. That being said, she glared at Gu Yan and said, "Okay. Brother-in-law, the arm that suddenly appeared on my shoulder before was not your ability, right?" Gu Yan shrugged, "I don't know about that. Hey, this kid is pretty sharp." Ling Qingqiu thought to himself that it was indeed a defensive measure that Gu Yan had set up on Ling Linger. Ling Linger was about to say something. From the TV, there was a sound of the live broadcast starting. "Oh, it's starting." Ling Linger's attention was immediately drawn to the TV. Gu Yan and Ling Qingqiu also looked over. Just see. A live broadcast interface opens. In the picture, what caught everyone's eyes was, he was a man with a burly figure wearing a white uniform. There was a star emblem on the other person's chest. Huh? Isn't this the man who was at the end of the New Year's Eve party last night? Ling Linger was a little surprised. Of course, this time the man had something more. In the live broadcast interface, he was given an identity. Head of Warrior Department, Long Tianyuan. Long Tianyuan. Gu Yan calmly recalled the person's information in his mind. In the original book, Long Tianyuan is the head of the Warrior Department, and his cultivation has reached the peak of the Grand Master realm. Known as the most powerful weapon of mankind, he is a terrifying existence that is infinitely close to a Grand Master and has lived for hundreds of years. Unfortunately, my time is up, but the Grand Master is still unable to break through, so he took another approach and chose to embark on a path of self-degradation. Here started the anti-demon weapon experiment. This is the cruel experiment that caused Lin Yin to be in this state. He hopes to find another way to break through and survive through this experiment. In fact, Long Tianyuan's original intention was good, because he wanted to eliminate all the monsters in the world. This includes the Night King. That's why he wants to stay alive and eliminate all the monsters and the Night King. But after he conducted anti-demon weapon experiments on himself, a monster's factors affected his original intention. This caused him to lose his mind and enter a demonic state, during which time he slaughtered countless innocent people. The final outcome was that they were annihilated by the protagonists, Shaolin and his group, despite enduring grief. Chapter 370 To the Night King appears. Back to the present. Long Tianyuan, who had not yet fallen, spoke slowly. His deep voice reached everyone's ears through the TV. "Hello everyone in the country, I am the Director General of the Warrior Department, Long Tianyuan. I believe everyone is very curious about this, wondering why we have only just unlocked the information about warriors. Speaking of this, Long Tianyuan took a deep breath and looked at everyone through the TV. That's because the world is about to change. And known to everyone. The warriors have participated in battles big and small. Our warriors fight against monsters in secret to keep society stable. and it should always be this way. But it's a pity. Or there is light, there is darkness. The enemy is more powerful than we could ever imagine. We cannot fight against the enemy in the dark with our current strength. Therefore we are going to make the warrior information public. Officially implement the policy of turning all people into warriors. The words fell. Everyone who was watching the live broadcast was shocked. But, according to the headquarters director, this is directly bringing modern society into the age of warriors. The comments on the internet were also noisy. As expected, each of us will become a warrior. It won't be the same as in the book. Is there any talent test? Of course, those with strong talents will be recruited by the government. As for the useless ones who can't practice, I don't know what to do with them. I have a question. I don't want to join any faction. I just want to awaken my talent and practice on my own. Is that not okay? What you asked above is what I want to ask. I just want to become a warrior, but I don't want to join any forces. It feels too troublesome. This is Long Tianyuan's side. It seemed like someone was communicating with him through his headset. In the picture. After listening for a while, he continued. We have decided to make all the information of warriors public in January. During this month, those who are interested in becoming warriors can browse the information released on the official warrior website. At the same time, we will also build warrior training facilities across the country, including talent testing and other supporting equipment. It is expected to be fully completed by the end of February. In March we will officially begin implementing the nationwide warrior talent detection and awakening process. By then, everyone can go to the nearest official agency in their area for testing. In addition, all those who participate in the talent test will be recorded. Everyone will get a new identity token. If someone is interested in joining the official department, they need to pass the examination and be screened in. If someone does not want to join the official organization, then they can also join a civilian martial arts organization. Everyone can check this information on the warrior's official website. At this point, Long Tianyuan's tone became serious, and he said in a deep voice, finally, I want to remind everyone that becoming a warrior is not a trivial matter. This is about your future. You may experience all kinds of dangerous things and be responsible for protecting world peace. And you must also be regulated by the department. You cannot do anything that harms civilians and disrupts society. You can't just take it for granted that you can be a free warrior. Because warriors are special beings, the power of warriors is used to protect peace, not to harm the world. If someone becomes a warrior and then has evil thoughts that harm society, then the judge will be handled by a specialist from our department. Because there are many uncertainties in combat, so the prisoners will be dealt with regardless of whether they are dead or alive. When it comes to the last sentence, everyone watching the live broadcast seemed to be able to feel the murderous aura surging from this person. I just checked the warrior official website. If we take the talent test to become a warrior, we will be subject to many restrictions. Yes, you must join a department or a civilian martial arts group. Otherwise you will be an illegal resident. You will be dealt with separately. No, you didn't read it carefully. This rule is only limited to the secular world. As long as you leave the secular world and go to the ancient martial arts world, it doesn't matter. DSK, the name of the ancient martial arts world sounds dangerous. Only a fool would go there, right? That's why I say you haven't read enough books. Although the ancient martial arts world is dangerous, it does not restrict personal freedom. I might even lose my life. So I won't go anyway. Hey, why is there a recruitment portal for the ancient martial arts sect on this official website? Let me see. Oh my, that's how it is if you don't want to join a department or join a civilian martial arts force in the secular world. Then you have two other options. One is to become a casual martial artist in the ancient martial arts world, and the other is to join a sect in the ancient martial arts world. This way you can freely go back and forth between the two worlds. I see the conditions for joining a sect must be very harsh. If you don't have the talent, they probably won't want you. Hey, just thought that I don't have to go to work anymore and will become the chosen one. Why do I suddenly feel like I'm just changing the way I continue to be an NPC after seeing this? Upstairs 1. Due to the above, it's the kind that could be fatal. It's so funny, why don't you just not take the talent test and not become a warrior? That's right, I don't want to be a warrior. It sounds troublesome. Didn't you hear what was said above? There are very scary enemies lurking in the dark. Don't let them be powerless to protect themselves. Forget it, there are so many of us. What enemy can deal with us? Bling family. Bling King why you listen to the live broadcast on TV. I have already made up my mind. She was convinced that the world of the future would be one where warriors were respected. Even with departmental constraints, the gap in status between ordinary people and warriors will continue to grow. The civilian martial arts department sounds good, but in reality it is also controlled by the department. It seems that letting Linger join the department is the best choice. Besides, Guyan also seems to want her to join the department. Because is it safe to stay there? Lang Qingqiu sighed inwardly. Guyan, what exactly do you want to do? And just at this moment, buzz, is easy. Sizzle, live broadcast images from all over the country began to tear and disappear. And a harsh and noisy electric sound emanated from them. Live broadcast. A cry of surprise suddenly came from Long Yunyuan's earphone. Minister, this is bad. Our live broadcast has been hacked by a third party. The video has been covered. No matter how hard the technical team tries, there's nothing they can do to fix it. The words fell. Bang! Long Yuan's headset suddenly exploded into powder. Mr. Minister. The bodyguard next to him suddenly stood up in panic. Long Yuan's face was gloomy, and he waved his hand to indicate that he was fine. Then he immediately ordered, turn up the live broadcast. Quickly! Hearing this, a member of the on-site technical team immediately called up the footage and projected it into the air. And a moment. People around the world who were watching the live broadcast were all shocked. Just see. The picture shows a spacious black and gold palace with strange stone fragments floating around it. Above the hall, there was a black-clad figure wearing a mask sitting on a throne. Even though they couldn't see the face clearly, everyone seemed to be able to feel the arrogance and malice coming from the other person. Next second, when everyone was guessing who the other person was, the other person's voice was indifferent and arrogant. It reached everyone's ears through the picture. Darkness. Endless darkness. The world is corrupt and evil is rampant. But be thankful. Our night will eventually destroy all evil. In the days to come, evil will no longer exist. The voice fell. The perspective in the picture gradually moves away. And the picture changes. Buzz buzz buzz. Inside the hall, figures like shadows slowly appeared in various places in the hall. Ceiling, walls, floor. They emerged from everywhere in various shapes and forms, making people's scalps tingle. Immediately following, dozens of figures dressed in uniform dim costumes stood on the left and right sides of the throne. From the picture, everyone can see that the surface of this clothing looks strange. As if fluid is flowing, they stood respectfully beside the throne. Said in unison, "We, the night." Long Yuan looked at everything on the screen with a gloomy expression. He gritted his teeth and whispered the name of the person in the picture, Night King. This is the first time that the entire Night organization appears on screen. It is also the official announcement of the return of the Night organization. The guy who has been silent for a long time since Zhang Yechei's incident. Night King, you finally showed up. This time, I will definitely kill you. Chapter 373. It's broken, we are the substitutes. The world changes drastically. And the Night King is born? People around the world watching the live broadcast were shocked. The Night King? The Night Order? What is all this? The barrage scrolled wildly. Is Sit-S actually the Night King? Friend, do you know the Night King? Yes, it is rumored that when the Night King is born and the world is destroyed, the powerful enemy mentioned by the warrior department is probably the Night King. TSK, I just wanted to watch a live broadcast. Who knew something like this would happen? The department head is already the strongest person in the world today. But the Night King is even more powerful and has never been eliminated from ancient times to the present. Now it seems it has become even stronger. So strong? No, who are you all? How do you know all this? I am the eldest disciple of Tianmen Mountain in the ancient martial arts world. If you awaken your talents in the future, please give priority to our sect. So warriors can also use mobile phones. Warrior Department. Shangguan Mayayin and other members of the Yuan organization were stunned. They watched the live broadcast on EV. They looked at each other. If the night is on EV, then what are we? Damn it. Shangguan Mayayin clasped her hands together on the table. Her expression very heavy. It's broken, we become substitutes. She glanced at B.A., Alyan and the others sitting there, and said in a deep voice, now, the act of impersonating the Night King is equivalent to directly replacing us. Even if we show up again in the future, I'm afraid we'll be mistaken for their stand-ins. As soon as these words came out, B.A. Alyan was a little hesitant. She also knew the seriousness of the problem now. So he looked at Shangguan Mayayin. What should we do? Should we inform the master? Hearing this, Shangguan Mayayin shook her head and said, no need. A master is very good at predicting things and probably already knows about this. We just need to wait quietly for news. Besides, at this point, she paused, and said with a slightly excited tone, the master said before that we should continue to be undercover in the department. Besides, she will also join us after that. We will infiltrate the upper echelons and dismantle the department from within. Real? The alien's eyes lit up. Master is coming to the department too. Yes. Shangguan Mayayin said in admiration. I can more or less guess what the master is doing. On the surface, he is letting the fakie act in the light and attract attention. In secret, we are undercover in the department to obtain various intelligence. When the master takes the position of minister, won't it be easy to take over this world? By then, even if the cricket pretends to be the Night King's master, I can suppress him with one hand. Master is wise. The master's wisdom is beyond our comprehension. Even I can only make a rough guess. The master must have deeper thoughts. Yes, stop talking. Let's go have a midnight snack tonight. I agree. Agree 1. Agree 2. Ling family. Ling Qiyu listened silently to the sounds and noises coming from the TV beside him. Is that the Night King on EV? Then who am I? Oh, I am indeed not the Night King anymore. Ling Qiyu felt helpless, but she could confirm it with certainty. The fake night organization on EV must have been created by Guyan. But Guyan was sitting next to her at this time. This live broadcast content. Could it be recorded in advance? But I actually thought of grabbing all the screens during the light broadcast in this world. And acted so high profile. Guyan, what exactly are you going to do? Guyan looked at the pictures on EV with satisfaction. Actually, Ling Qiyu guessed right. This scene was recorded by Guyan himself after rehearsing in advance. He thought a lot and finally confirmed this version. It seems that the effect is really good. Ling Linger swallowed her saliva and pointed at the TV and asked nervously. Sister, isn't this the villain that often harms the world on EV? What is the Night Organization? It sounds scary. And the Night King must be a devil who kills without blinking an eye. Right? Hearing this, Ling Qiyu was silent for a while. Then he coughed and said, yes, Linger, if you encounter them, remember not to fight hard but to run away directly. After all, they are a bunch of inhumans come. Especially the Night King in the picture. He is an unforgivable sinner. Ling Linger understood and nodded. He looked at the Night King in the picture with sharp eyes. I don't know why, but I suddenly feel like I've met my old enemy. What's going on? Guyan was listening to what Ling Qiyu said and suddenly fell silent. Wait, King Qiyu is not talking about me, right? Well, that shouldn't be the case. I'm not as bad as Ling Qiyu said. Anyway, Guyan looked at Ling Linger and said softly, Linger, the textbooks in school will be replaced with warrior knowledge reserves. In March we will conduct a warrior talent test. At that time, there will be a distinction between ordinary classes and warrior classes. Those without talent will continue to attend the regular class, while those who have the potential to become warriors will be placed in the warrior class. Don't worry, the warrior department has prepared a green channel for students. If you have talent, you can take the college entrance examination that is unique to warriors. At that time, you will be admitted to warrior schools of different levels for further study according to your performance. Also, after graduation, the warrior department will also assign jobs to newly graduated warriors. A warrior department needs a lot of talent. The array department and the research and development department all need a large number of talents. If that doesn't work out, you can also join a civilian martial arts group to find employment. The salary and benefits are also very generous. After hearing this, Ling Qiyu somewhat understood the operations in the department. This is equivalent to changing the current social system and directly creating another employable career direction. But Ling Qiyu still wanted to say something more. She held Guyan's hand, shook her head and said, it's better for Linger to join the department. After all, the department is safe and working there is stable. Guyan chuckled and nodded. I'll listen to you, King Qiyu. I will make all the arrangements when the time comes. Ling Linger was stunned as she listened. She had absolutely no say. Wait a minute. Why does it sound so troublesome? Isn't it okay for me to just be a freelance beauty blogger? And shouldn't I be the Dragon King of the Dragon King Palace? Why do you want to go to the department? Although now the members of the Dragon King Palace are only me, Yun Xing, Bi Quang Lan, Ning Qian and Gu Yin Ying. But why does this sound like a strange sense of déjà vu? In the world of warriors, do I still want to be a social anim? No, my fate is in my own hands. I have to control my own destiny. Think of this. Ling Linger cast a pleading look at Guyan. It seemed that he understood what Ling Linger meant. Guyan smiled helplessly, and then said, of course. The premise of doing this is that Linger wants this. Don't forget that she is now the Dragon King of the Dragon King Palace. I forgot about this matter. Ling Qiyu thought for a moment after hearing this, and nodded, that's right. With Linger's talent, her future achievements will surely be extraordinary. But Linger doesn't know Guyan's true identity, and hopes that nothing will go wrong. Chapter 374, 1 month later, the base of the ancient martial arts world. The live broadcast is over. The live broadcast replays of the Night King and the Night Organization quickly became a hot search topic. Various video accounts chasing hot topics began to edit the live broadcast footage. Everyone understood that there was nothing else in this world besides monsters. There is also an organization called Night. This organization has existed in the world since ancient times, and until now, they have appeared in reality in a high-profile manner. The world is changing. A large number of people logged into the official warrior website to search for information. There is more rigorous information about warriors for everyone to check. Countless video bloggers have transformed themselves and started posting videos on martial arts strategies. Now, just open the live broadcast room for information about warriors. Then the popularity is extremely hot. Time passes slowly. 1 month later, warriors have become household names, and the omnipotent abilities of immortals who can fly and hide have become something that many people yearn for. And in order to cater to the modern world, the ancient martial arts world has chosen to integrate into all aspects of the secular world. 20:30 p.m. In a live broadcast room named King Feng Pai official account, an old man with a kind face and an ancient and immortal demeanor sat on a rattan chair. The number of viewers in the upper right corner exceeded 100. He stroked his long beard and said kindly, "Good evening, everyone. I am the leader of the King Feng sect, King Fengzi. The world has changed suddenly, and our ancient martial arts world also needs fresh blood. If anyone is interested, they can make an appointment in advance to register for our King Feng school. If you detect a talent for martial arts cultivation, you can directly join our sect. Before that, I will answer your questions about warriors in this live broadcast room." The barrage scrolls. Walking-Niastetseasons flocked into the live broadcast room. Yes, I checked and found out that this senior is actually a master-level expert. How could such a person be willing to lower himself to answer questions for us live? Don't you understand? I want to ask Senior King Fengzi. Even the ancient martial arts world can't defeat them. It seems that I saw this comment. King Fengzi smiled and stroked his beard. Then shook his head. Haha, Netizen, you really underestimate our ancient martial arts world and overestimate the Night King. At this point, he said proudly, it can be said that no force in the world can withstand the power of all of us warriors in the ancient martial arts world. Back then, the previous Night King was killed by warriors from our ancient martial arts world in the secular world. But unfortunately, the Night King has special abilities. As long as evil continues to grow in the world, the Night King will be reborn again. I see, it's the evil Night King. Can the Night King be reborn? But since the previous one could be killed, this one should be easy to deal with, right? See this barrage? King Fengzi laughed. This Netizen is right. The Night King is actually not that difficult to fight. The difficulty lies in the fact that the Night King's abilities are strange and invisible. He is the best at escaping. If we can't trap him, all of us warriors will go out together. No matter how many tricks the Night King has, he won't be able to survive. You are worthy of being the master. When I awaken my talent, I will join the King Feng sect. From this perspective, this Night King is nothing special. The Night organization is probably just trying to bluff people. Otherwise, why wouldn't they show up after saying such harsh words? That's right, they hid their heads and showed their tails. They didn't start to get scared until the warrior department announced that everyone would become warriors. Oh, yes, what was said above makes sense. It is because all of us are going to become warriors that the Night King feels the crisis. Cricket Night King, nothing more than that. King Fengzi watched the changes in one direction in the live broadcast with satisfaction. In his heart, he also had great disdain for the current Night King. We were able to kill you once 5 years ago, and we can certainly kill you once 5 years later. Only. Sudden, a barrage of comments appeared and caught his attention. But didn't the Night King say that he would destroy all evil? What if the other party is a good person? Oh. King Feng's eyes darkened. And he immediately scolded, nonsense, the Night King is extremely cruel by nature. He is a big devil who has killed countless live. Show can he be a good person? It's ridiculous that you would have such a childish idea. You are not worthy of being a warrior. You should be ashamed of this and apologize to all warriors. Old man, you got angry just because I said a few words? Throughout the history of the ancient martial arts world, martial artists have always respected martial arts. Among them, there is even a living sacrifice of a demon cult member. Is this cruel method better than the Night King? In the world of warriors, it is natural to harm others and benefit oneself. Why do you take the high ground of justice when it's the Night King's turn? Could it be because the Night King is stronger than all of you? Hey, what are the values above? Senior King Fengzi is definitely a righteous warrior. How could he do something like what you said? That is, and you please go away, haters? Are you having a hard time in real life and are you seeking a sense of existence online? Needless to say, this guy's account has been blocked. You deserve it. You deserve it. 1. King Fengzi's head felt a little swollen. He tried his best to calm himself down. This damn little black fan. Don't let me know who you are in real life. If you are from the ancient martial arts world, I will tear you into pieces. King Fengzi was speechless. He and others were naturally righteous. The Night King is powerful enough to destroy the world. If he is not eliminated, both good and evil will be destroyed by him. No, could this little black fan be sent by another sect to stir up trouble? It can be seen from the previous live broadcast footage that Night King is not a good person, right? How can anyone still believe that the other person is a good person? He shook his head. Live streaming in the secular world has its pros and cons. It would be nice if he could recruit a group of talented disciples. Of course, there are not many geniuses even in the ancient martial arts world, let alone the secular world where the true energy is thin. Even if there are, they will probably be picked up first by the warrior department. Aha, never mind. Let's end this boring lit broadcast as soon as possible. Thinking of this, King Fengzi stroked his beard and said with a kind smile, "Everyone, the man just now had bad intentions, so don't pay any attention to him. It's almost time for me to go into seclusion and practice. That's it from now on. My eldest disciple Yang Huan will broadcast the lit broadcast to everyone." As he spoke, the camera turned to a man with thick eyebrows and big eyes. "Hello everyone, I am Yang Huan, the chief disciple of King Feng sect. At this time in the ancient martial arts world, on a black cliff shrouded in thick fog, the air here was filled with blood mist, and everywhere were corpses lying on the ground with fear in their eyes. And in this painting with corpses everywhere, a figure wearing a white devil mask stood there, looking angrily at the screen of the blocked account on his phone. I'm so angry, how dare you insult me like this, damn it? And who is the person in charge of this short video platform? Why did they block my account?" Aside, a figure wearing a black devil mask shook his head helplessly. "Chow Ba, don't be like this, the adults didn't give you the phone for this kind of thing." Snort. Chow Ba waved his right hand and the phone was taken back into the different space. She walked to Shitu and said with a smile, "Brother Shitu, the people from the 10,000 poison sect are too weak. How dare they attack us like this?" As he spoke, Xiao Bia kicked the skeleton beside him that had been corroded into a pile of bones, and said mockingly, "We are just collecting information about the ancient martial arts world. Why do we have to seek death?" Shita held a poison bead that emitted a green glow in his hand and nodded gently. "It is precisely because the Lord has given us the power that we can deal with the sect so easily. Stop making a fuss. I reported this matter to the Lord a long time ago. I believe the Lord will be here soon." As soon as the words fell, buzz, accompanied by the gathering of thick black fog, a ghostly figure appeared in front of Shitu and Xiao Bia. "Grown-ups. Grown-ups?" The two men immediately bowed and greeted him respectfully. The person who came was Gu Yan. He waved his right hand, and the green poison bead slowly flew from Shi Tiou's hand to his front. "Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 10,000 poison pearl. This item can summon a fierce poisonous fog with a radius of 10,000 miles. Those with a cultivation level lower than the innate level will be directly turned into pus and blood once they inhale the poisonous fog." He looked at the poison bead, then sensed the current environment of the mountain. His eyes thoughtful. "Well, this place can be used as a base for the ancient martial arts world." Thinking of this, next second, the 10,000 poison pearl flew into the sky, emitting a brilliant green light all over its body. Then, buzz, a magic circle appeared above the 10,000 poisons pearl. Gu Yan moved his right hand. Boom! The surging true energy is transmitted into it. 10,000 poisons illusion array. A moment, the 10,000 poison pearls dissipated. The mountains covering an area of thousands of miles were all surrounded by dark green mist. Any creature that enters this place will not only become poisoned, but will also fall into an endless illusion. Immediately following, gurgle, the claws produced densely packed clone cells, like a scavenger, and in an instant all the dead disciples of the 10,000 poison sect were turned into nutrients. Do all this. Gu Yan looked at Xiao Bia and Shitu. He spoke slowly. "From today on, this group of mountains will be our base in the ancient martial arts world. Butling Fa complete the teleportation arrays on both sides as soon as possible." In addition, Gu Yan's figure slowly disappeared, and his voice reached the ears of the two people, the first trial subject. "You can start." All the forces that surrounded and suppressed the Ling family back then, Gu Yan will not leave anyone alive. Chapter 375, Night King appears. The first target is King Feng sect. Ever since the announcement of universal warriorization a month ago, the world has changed dramatically. Warrior-related facilities are being built around the world. Warrior propaganda speeches can be seen everywhere in the streets and commercial districts. 9 o'clock in the evening. The Warrior Department headquarters building was brightly lit. Everyone is working overtime on a 24-hour rotation basis. At this time, within the abnormal fluctuation monitoring department, a group of people sat around a large screen, and each person had a separate screen in front of him or her. They are conducting 24-hour data monitoring. There are no abnormal reactions in City A. There are no abnormal reactions in City B. The secular world has been monitored. The current time is 21:31. Everything is safe. There was no unique fluctuation reaction to the Night King. The report is completed. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. A man with glasses let out a sigh of relief and lay back on the backrest. He looked helplessly at the people who were also working overtime. Don't tell me, since the Night King was born a month ago, we have been the ones who have suffered. Hearing this, the woman with a tired look on her face shook her head and sighed. Yes, because of what the Night King said, we all have to work overtime to monitor the energy fluctuations across the country. This Night King is indeed an evil guy by nature. Hey Sister Sue. Stop complaining, there's still the ancient martial arts world that we haven't monitored yet. Speaking of this, a person who was speaking started typing away on the keyboard. His tone somewhat puzzled. Huh? Did something happen? Oh, I sent it, but Sister Sue, why can't I understand this data fluctuation chart? Why is there a dark spot? Rush. Su Lin frowned when she heard that. She slid her chair to the side of the person who was speaking and looked at the data fluctuation chart with serious eyes. She recalled in her mind the technique her master had taught her on how to tell whether the Night King was around. A moment. Her heart sank, and she said in a serious tone, "Not good, the Night King has appeared in the secular world." At this point, Su Lin immediately looked at the man with glasses and said quickly, "Xiao Xiao, immediately find the coordinates of the location of this dark place. Quickly." Xiao Xiao immediately perked up and started searching. A moment. The coordinates of the dark place were projected onto the large screen in the room. Everyone looked over. For a while, everyone was silent, because the place represented by this coordinate is a Night King's energy fluctuations appeared there. This means that the Night King's target is the King Feng sect. Everyone gasped. How could this Night King be so bold? Su Lin immediately shouted, "Everyone, immediately notify the department members stationed in the ancient martial arts world. In addition, immediately notify the King Feng sect and the major sects around the other side. And Sister Sue. Sister Sue is not well. Sister Sue. Look at this." Su Lin was interrupted, and a sense of uneasiness surged in her heart. What's going on? She shifted her gaze to the side and saw Xiao Xiao holding his cell phone in his hand. The picture is actually a perspective from a high altitude. Below the perspective is a sect's large formation. And they could clearly see the sect in the gate. It's the King Feng school. Su Lin's eyes narrowed, and she snatched the phone away. A night organization is starting a live broadcast. No, the phone suddenly changed to this picture. What? Su Lin's eyes flickered. Is this the ability of the Night King? Shit, this is bad. Because, Sister Sue, my phone has become like this too. Mine too. I also. As soon as the words fell. All large screens in the abnormal fluctuation monitoring department. In an instant, it became a unified picture. Sister Sue. All our equipment is out of order. What kind of ability is this? The Night King is coming. Immediately following. A voice that made everyone's scalp tingle. Coming from the screen. In the 8,523rd year of the ancient martial calendar, the King Feng sect attacked the Lipo sect, slaughtered all 239 disciples of the sect, seized their mineral veins, and devoured their roots. In the 8,524th year of the ancient martial calendar, a current leader of the King Feng sect, King Feng Zi, in order to break through to the Grand Master level, sneaked up on the previous leader and seized the leader's seal to gather his luck and break through. In the 8,526th year of the ancient martial calendar, disciples of the King Feng sect went down the mountain to play and slaughter all the mortals in the small villages in the area. Ancient martial arts calendar. The sound resounded through the sky. Everyone was in a panic. Not good, the Night King is reading out the fruits of the King Feng sect's past years. Damn it, his next step will definitely be to attack the King Feng sect. Quick, have the other sects been notified? Connect. I've been notified and we're on our way. Tell them to go faster. But it was too late. Because all the electronic products of people all over the world were affected and changed to Guyan's current picture. Especially in the live broadcast room of King Feng School's official account. Yang Huan, the eldest disciple of King Feng sect who was broadcasting live at this time, had no idea what was happening outside. It's just that a large number of black fans flooded into the live broadcast room to stir up trouble. How can the King Feng sect be considered a righteous sect? It turns out that what they do behind the scenes is no doubt similar to the evil ways. You big guys don't treat the common people as human beings at all. Just because the food was bad, they slaughtered nearly 100 people in the village. This is really abominable. Impossible. How could the righteous sect do such a thing? The Night King is a devil that harms the world. Do you believe in the devil's words? That's right, don't be led by the rhythm. Do you believe what the Night King said? What if it's true? In the world of warriors, the strong are respected, and ordinary people are no different from pigs and dogs. Yang Huan was unable to broadcast live and his face looked grim. What's going on? Obviously, only they themselves know about this kind of thing. Who leaked it? At this time, a panicked voice came. Big brother, what's wrong? Oh no, the Night King. He's attacking. What? Dingfeng sect leader King Fengzi stood up from the side. His tone was shocked. Yi Wang, are you sure you didn't see it wrong? Yes, they are in the sky, repeating what we did before one by one. King Fengzi's face was grim. He immediately ordered, shut down the live broadcast and follow me out immediately. Yang Huan felt something was not right. Looking at the live broadcast room again. The style has suddenly changed. Didn't King Fengzi say he was going into seclusion? So the feelings are right next to him? These hypocritical bastards. Now what the Night King said is credible. Yang Huan didn't have time to take care of this. After closing the leap broadcast, he immediately followed King Fengzi out. Chapter 376, Destroying the Sect. Countless crimes were listed one by one. Countless people understood what kind of sect the King Feng sect was. The top of King Feng's sect. King Fengzi rushed here with a group of disciples. He held a sword in his hand and looked up to see the dense black shadows in the sky. Suddenly, a hairs all over my body stood up. Even his tone became trembling. Really, Night King? All the bold words spoken in the live broadcast room were forgotten. All that was left was an endless chill. He suppressed his fear and looked at his pale-faced disciple Yang Huan beside him. Have other sects arrived yet? What about the warrior department? Have they come to support us? Yang Huan came back to his senses, swallowed his saliva, and said, they are on their way here. But I don't know if we can hold on until then. Hearing this, King Fengzi felt a little relieved. He raised his head and looked at Night King again, forcing a smile and saying, "No, it's okay. Our sect's formation has been passed down from ancient times to the present day, and has been protecting our sect from invasion by foreign enemies. Even if it's a full-strength attack from a late-stage Grand Master, I can block 3 of them." However, as soon as the words fell, a scene appeared that no one in the world had ever imagined. It seemed as if time had stopped at this moment. Everyone was stunned. 10 o'clock that night. The bright moon in the sky of the ancient martial arts world, which was originally filled with stars, was suddenly covered by darkness. That was not a normal night. But Guyan stood high in the air, slowly raised his right hand, and looked down at the King Feng sect below. A common indifferent voice came from his mouth to everyone's ears. Heaven and earth are not benevolent, and treat all things as straw dogs. The King Feng sect has committed a heinous crime, and the ancient martial arts world cannot punish them. And it will be up to us, Knight. Come and do justice. The words fell. Boom! A huge black claw formed by malicious energy quickly gathered in the sky. The giant claw was so huge that it blocked out the sun and all light. Guyan gently lowered his right hand, and following Guyan's movements, the giant claw quickly blasted towards the King Feng sect formation. What's even more frightening is, this huge King Feng sect, in front of the giant claw formed by Guyan's true energy, seemed so small. Boom! As the giant claws pressed down on the formation, powerful shock-wave hurricanes instantly swept across an area of thousands of miles. Crash! Countless towering trees collapsed in an instant. Kaya Kaka! The big formation made a lot of sharp and strange noises. Everyone, you saw your strength to supply grew energy to the sect's formation. King Fengzi's eyes were red with anger, and he stretched out his hand to channel all his true energy. How could this happen? How could this happen? The Night King, even stronger than he was 5 years ago. Why? Looking at the gradually shattering formation, King Fengzi coughed up blood from the corner of his mouth. He looked up to the sky and roared, "Why, Yi Wang, do you really want to destroy my sect?" However, what responded to him was a sentence that couldn't be more bland. Destroyed. So what? Boom. Bang. A giant black hand shattered the sect's formation, but it did not stop. Instead, they continued to press towards the entire King Feng sect, which had a history of thousands of years. No. King Fengzi's eyes were bloodshot. Run quickly. The Night King is coming. Run! Countless screams and cries of grief rose one after another. But it was all in vain. As the giant hand covering the entire sect pressed down, all sounds stopped abruptly. Brush! The giant hand dissipated. Everyone who was watching the scene fell into complete silence. The scrolling barrage of comments suddenly stopped. Because the original site of the huge King Feng sect, at this moment it has turned into a sunken basin. A Night King actually wiped out an entire sect from the map with just one palm. The forces that had just arrived here 100 miles away suddenly stopped. They raised their heads and looked into the distance. Even here, They could feel the surging fighting atmosphere coming from over there. A disciple in a Taoist robe swallowed his saliva with a trembling body. He wanted to back out. You must be kidding. That claw that's bigger than the sect. Crushed the King Feng sect. No, this is not a battle we can participate in. That's right, the sect master asked us to support King Feng sect. But now that King Feng sect is gone, there is no need for us to support it. Yes, quick, retreat. The ancient martial arts world has always been ruthless and unrighteous. When you are strong, then you are an ally. If you are accidentally killed by someone. The NHA. Several warriors in white uniforms also stood on the tree trunks with grim expressions, and there was a transparent lens on their right eyes. A person responded into the headset, report, the King Feng sect has been destroyed. There are no signs of life in the sect. Oh no. Wait. As soon as the words fell, everyone saw what the Night King did next from the live broadcast room. Guyan stood in the air. Next second. Buzz. A huge force of dark night swept below. A moment. Countless pale souls appeared one by one from the King Feng sect. Visibly. Then, Guyan raised his right hand. The souls gathered together and in an instant turned into a white soul pill and slowly flew in front of Guyan. Then, in front of everyone, Guyan picked up the soul pill and slowly absorbed it into his body. Plop, plop, boom. An even more powerful aura emanated from Guyan. Everyone was shocked. The Night King, he refined the souls of all the King Feng sect members, devouring souls to feed itself. This Night King is indeed still the cruel and inhumane Night King. He has completely blocked the chance of reincarnation for all the living beings in the King Feng sect. It's inhumane. It's absolutely inhumane. A Night King ate the souls of those people? Yes. I remember that there is a line in the information about the Night King on the Warriors' official website, saying that he becomes stronger by eating the souls of living creatures. Oh my god, from this point of view, upholding justice is just an excuse, and devouring people's souls for cultivation is what the Night King wants to do. No wonder, all the bad guys are the same. They all deserve to die. I almost thought the Night King was a good guy. Can we really deal with this kind of enemy? Do all this. Guyan said softly, there are countless sins in the world. This is just the first one, and it won't be the last. Be thankful, because we the Night will eventually wipe out all evil. Chita Xiaobiei and other members of the Night organization also shouted in unison from behind. We the Night will eventually wipe out all evil. The words fell. Rush. The figures of Guyan and others disappeared. And everyone's electronic products have returned to normal operation. A month later, the Night organization finally showed up. And as soon as it showed up, it once again caused a stir around the world. Everyone is guessing what the Night King will do next. Will they conduct such a high-profile live broadcast? Department headquarters. Bang! Damn Night King! Everyone, speed up. We need to recruit a large number of warriors as soon as possible. We can't let the Night King destroy this world. Headquarters Director Long Tianyuan smashed the table in front of him with a grim look on his face. Yes. Night King, don't be happy too soon. When I break through to Grand Master level, it will be your death. Chapter 377 Lang Qingqiu becomes the head of the sword department. Early the next morning, keywords such as Night King, Night Organization, and King Feng sect quickly became the top hot searches. This organization, which had disappeared for a month, has once again come into everyone's attention. Is the Night King's purpose really to punish evil and promote good? Or is it to devour the souls of others for cultivation? Polarized opinions have formed on the internet. One idea is that the Night King kills evil people who do not treat civilians as human beings, so he just kills them. Another view is that the Night King is worthy of death, and his real purpose is to override moral concepts and devour people's souls with peace of mind. There was a heated debate on the internet about this. Warrior Department Headquarters. Inside the large conference room of the headquarters building, all department members gather here. A crowd of people in the audience speculated that what was being discussed today must be related to the Night King. Bi Jun, who had not been seen for a long time, was naturally among them. As the youngest genius master in the department, he naturally sat in the first row. Lin Yinyan was also rarely summoned back. Little B.A. You are not dead. Lin Yinyan choked up and grabbed B.A. Jun's hand. Sobbing. B.I. Jun's mouth twitched when he heard this. And he sighed helplessly, Teacher, you are exaggerating too much. Although I didn't die, I was also injured now. I am just a small logistics staff. Mori? Lin Yinyan was stunned after looking at the people on the stage. She lowered her voice and said to B.A. Jun, that old guy doesn't want you to go to the front line? Old guy. B.I. Jun glanced at Long Qianyuan, who had a serious expression on the stage. Finally he replied softly, the minister has taken some of the pressure for me. It is not easy for me to stay in the department. Lin Yinyan nodded, and a smile reappeared on her face. This is also fine, let me tell you. These days when you were away, it was Xiao Yanzi who accompanied me. Xiao Yanzi. Ai Jun was startled, then a trace of realization appeared on his face. And he smiled and said, "Is it Gu Yan? How is he doing recently? Xiao Yanzi is very nice to me, he always gives me candy." When Lin Yinyan talked about Gu Yan, a bright smile appeared on her face. And her eyes were shining. "Let me show you the new kind of candy he gave me. He said it's not available on the market. They all taste sweet." As Lin Yinyan was about to take out the candy, Bi Jun stopped him speechlessly. "Don't, this place is not your home, teacher, don't do this. You'll be scolded again if the minister sees you." Hearing this, Lin Yinyan's face fell. "Oh." He put back the candy he was about to take out. On the podium, Headquarters Minister Long Yanyuan looked at everyone in the conference room with a serious look and said word by word, "I think everyone knows what happened last night. The King Feng sect of the ancient martial arts world was destroyed by the Night King. Afterwards, we also sent a specialist from the ancient martial arts world to investigate, and confirmed no one in the entire sect survived. During the live broadcast, the Night King even refined the souls of all the sect members and devoured them for cultivation. This arrogant behavior." Long Tianyuan said this, took a deep breath, and gradually calmed himself down. He said in a deep voice, "The dead cannot be resurrected, and the disciples of King Feng sect have no chance of reincarnation. The incident with the Night King has taught us that this sinister guy is always hiding in the dark, waiting for his chance to act. He is a sinner of the world. A terrible sinner who will cause serious damage to the world. I declare that from now on, everyone must step up their alert, and the monitoring team must monitor areas with abnormal energy fluctuations in real time. A production department has increased the production of searchlights, and everyone must have one to ensure that we can find out at a glance whether this person is related to the Night Organization. The Ministry of Construction is speeding up the construction of departmental facilities. They must be fully completed by the end of this month." Instructions were issued one by one. Everyone held their breath. This time the minister is really angry. Finally, Long Tianyuan's mood eased a little bit, and he said in a deep voice, "Also, I have something else to announce. As we all know, this world only has one system, the warrior system. This is recognized by the whole world and even the ancient martial arts community. But now we have found a second cultivation system." Speaking of this, Long Tianyuan cast his gaze towards a corridor in the conference room. The next second, a figure slowly appeared in everyone's sight. Her steps were light and graceful, as if every step was on invisible clouds, making people feel that she was not walking in the mortal world, but a fairy descending from the sky. It would be more accurate to say that he walked rather than walked, his footsteps floating in the air. She is tall, like a solitary cedar tree in autumn. Upright yet graceful. Her face was cold and clear, like the moonlight in late autumn. Bright and distant, making people dare not look directly at her. Her long hair fell like a waterfall, swaying gently as she moved, emitting a faint luster. She closed her eyes, her expression was calm, and her aura was as cold as ice. Her appearance plunged the entire space into silence. Everyone present was so shocked by her aura and appearance that they even forgot to breathe for a moment. Their eyes followed her closely, as if they were pulled by an invisible force and unable to look away. This person is Link Inqiu. Why is Link Inqiu here? The eldest daughter of the Ling family, once the #1 goddess, was murdered by the Night King because of someone in her family. Hey, don't talk about this here. Bi Jun's eyes were shocked. Wait, how come Guyan's lover is at the headquarters? On the side, Lin Yinyan was shaking her legs and shouting happily. Sister Kinqiu. Bi Jun looked at Lin Yinyan. Sister Kinqiu? You are old enough to be someone's grandmother. Ling Kinqiu. This name echoed in everyone's heart, just like her existence. Cold and unignorable. Her revolt not only changed the atmosphere of the scene, but also made everyone feel an unprecedented shock. Because, buzz, following Ling Kinqiu floating to the podium. Behind her, 10 pure white and translucent blades of light were floating in the air. Even if they were sitting in the audience, everyone could feel the terrifying deterrent for emanating from it. What kind of skill is this? Long Tianyuan saw that everyone's attention was drawn to him. So he sighed, "Everyone, I want to announce something. Ling Kinqiu will join the warrior division as the founder of our second cultivation system. The name of this second system is Spiritual Master. Relying purely on mental power to launch a soul attack. This is a natural system to restrain the Night King." Boom. The words fell. Everyone's brain was like being bombarded by thunder. Psychic? In the hall, the sound of people gasping for air could be heard one after another. Everyone looked at Link Inqiu in shock. The goddess. created a second system. Just come out and give them the whole thing? By the way, isn't the cold goddess the girlfriend of the eldest son of the Gu family? Weren't you in a relationship before? Did you secretly create a sect? Next second, Ling Qiyu slowly opened her eyes. Buzz. Her eyes were no longer empty and lifeless, but were actually bright and pure white. When everyone glanced at Ling Qiyu's eyes, they suddenly felt a sharp pain in their hearts. And that was just a glimpse. Countless people turned pale and lowered their heads. This is it. A mental attack? Long Qianyuan smiled proudly and said, "Everyone, let's start from today. Ling Qiyu is the director of the Warrior Department Sword Department. She will give priority to selecting talented members to join the Sword Department. The Spiritualist will be our final resort against the Night King. The meeting is adjourned." Chapter 378, The formation is completed. The next goal. The meeting is over. The news that Ling Qiyu was suddenly appointed as the head of the Sword Department spread quickly throughout the entire Warrior Department. Long Chunyuan has been dealing with the Night King for his entire life. After learning that Ling Qiyu has created a spiritualist training system, naturally, I am extremely excited. He thought that it was really karma. The Night King was invincible, but now he finally met someone who could restrain him. As long as everyone learns Ling Qiyu's spiritual master system, I believe that this time, they can definitely kill the Night King. In the department corridor, Ling Qiyu walked calmly inside the department. Of course, she did not do nothing during this month. You must know that before everyone became a warrior, there were countless monsters and evil cultivators lurking in the dark in the world. So after simply showing off his spiritualist skills to eliminate the enemy, he attracted the attention of the warrior department. In addition, Gu Yan was secretly pushing it behind the scenes. A family helper. So she was directly made the head of the sword department. Of course, this was also because of her strong abilities. She already knew what Gu Yan had done in the ancient martial arts world last night. King Feng's sect, haha. You deserve it. Among the forces that besieged the Ling family back then, the King Feng sect was one of them. Now that it has been destroyed, it can be considered a small step towards the goal. But there was one thing that made Ling Qiyu worried. That was when Gu Yan finally devoured the souls of the King Feng sect members. As a former Night King, she naturally knows the risks of devouring other people's souls. That is, you will bear all the pain and memories of this person. There is no abnormality now, but as time goes on, Gu Yan might be in danger. While Ling Qiyu sighed inwardly, she brought Linger with her to the headquarters this time. One reason is to let Linger familiarize herself with the environment in the department in advance. Secondly, it was to get to know some people, so that Linger wouldn't come in alone and be unfamiliar with the place. Just thought of this. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared at the corner ahead. Sister. Look, my friend is here too. Linger happily pulled an expressionless girl over. Ling Qiyu. Light of hope. My lord, it's done. Ling Qiyu has become the head of the sword department. The man in a suit reported to Gu Yan respectfully. Go back and don't arouse suspicion. Gu Yan sat on the sofa in the office at the top of the building and nodded slightly. Yes. Brush. The man in the suit slowly sank into the shadows. After people left, the corners of Gu Yan's mouth curled up slightly. There was a hint of inexplicable meaning in his eyes. Very good. Ling Qiyu becoming the head of the sword department is only the first step. The next step is to make everyone trust each other. Okoya sat at the desk nearby, processing a large amount of documents. She saw Gu Yan talking about this kind of thing in front of her without any hesitation. I suddenly felt powerless. She shook her head. What a guy who abuses his power. Gu Yan glanced at the other party, picked up the teacup and took a sip. Principal Wo, do you have anything to say? Seeing the other party asking her, Owoya looked up at Gu Yan, and after a moment of silence, she said, Ling Fa came here before. He has already made the magic circle you asked him to make. He should be over there in the clearing now. Hearing this, Gu Yan smiled slightly. Got it. It seems. A month ago, the magic circle that concealed the light of hope that he had asked Ling Fa to make was finally completed. TSK, he is indeed the magic array genius in the original book. That's perfect. Go and inspect the work yourself. Thinking of this, Gu Yan looked at Luoya and said with a gentle and easygoing smile. Principal Wo, the world today is implementing the policy of universal warriorization. Our Gu family will also follow the general trend and become a civilian martial arts group. The light of hope will also enter the public eye. When the time comes, I will need to trouble Principal Wo to take on the role of head of the group. When Luoya heard this, her heart was shocked. She didn't understand what Gu Yan meant. Do you want to use the civilian martial arts group to cover up the true situation of the light of hope? Her eyes narrowed, and she said in an incredible tone, You actually want to do this? Do you know what will happen to you and me if we are discovered by the people in the department? Is Gu Yan crazy? Once the light of hope enters the public eye, it will surely attract the attention of countless people. As long as the slightest clue is revealed, Gu Yan and even the Gu family will be in an irretrievable situation. This is not something you need to worry about. Principal Woe. As long as you complete the task I assign to you, that's all. Gu Yan chuckled and disappeared from here. Huya looked at the place where Gu Yan left and finally could only sigh. The light of hope. Gu Yan, Lao Zhao and Ling Fa are standing on the only road leading to the light of hope. Ling Fa walked to a boundary line, pointed to the endless front and explained. My lord, please look, this is the realistic and delusionary concealing formation you asked me to make. This place is divided into two parts, one is the real world, and the other is the virtual world. When we insiders use special means to cross it, we will be able to reach the true light of hope. As he spoke, Ling Fa raised a bracelet on his hand and took Gu Yan and Lao Gao across the boundary of the magic circle. A moment, the three of them seemed to have entered another dimension. Things ahead changed again, and turned into a black gate that represented the light of hope. Gu Yan was satisfied, this was what he wanted. Unless they use special means to enter. Otherwise, everyone will only cross this space and walk 100 miles before seeing a newly established civilian martial arts group called Light of Hope. And Ling Fa also made a teleportation array from the internal base to the ancient martial arts base. Allow everyone to travel freely in the ancient martial arts world. Very good. Gu Yan nodded with satisfaction. This time, everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. The next night organization's action it's time to start. Think of this. As Gu Yan walked into the light of hope, he said to Lao Gao behind him. Lao Gao, has someone prepare something. The next target to be eradicated. It's the Death God organization in the west. Okay, master. Back then, the forces that attacked the Ling family included organizations from the ancient martial arts world, and the warrior forces hidden in the secular world. First eliminate those with strong influence, so that the weak ones can band together, and then destroy them in one fell swoop. In this way, revenge can be completely accomplished. Chapter 379. Provoking Posts, Hunting Preview. I'm past and it was evening. Warrior Department Cafeteria. Next to Lenglinger sat an expressionless girl. She explained, Sister, let me introduce you, this is a good friend I met at the Gu family's annual meeting. Her name is Liu Mengmeng. She's the daughter of my brother-in-law's mother's best friend. Liu Mengmeng looked at Ling Qingqiu, nodded, and said in a light tone, Hello, Sister Qingqiu. Ling Qingqiu was speechless. I was worried before that Lenglinger might be bullied since she was unfamiliar with the place. And suddenly a good friend pops up for you. It seems like the relationship is pretty good. The opportunity came at the Gu family annual party. Ling Qingqiu reviewed the friends around Lenglinger in his mind. Suddenly discovered. My sister, is she surprisingly popular? At this time, there was a noise coming from the side. Have you read the post on the Warrior Forum? Look. I went to scold. Damn it, these foreigners are nothing. Eat quietly, return to your respective posts after dinner. Oh. End of interlude. Ling Qingqiu shook his head slightly. These people are really outrageous for losing their minds because of a post. At this time, Lenglinger also took out her cell phone because she noticed the noise over there. After taking a few glances, she muttered to Ling Qingqiu indignantly. Sister, you don't know. Netizens from the Western country are making a lot of outrageous comments on the Warrior Forum. They say that our Eastern warriors are cowardly. Amir Night King has put the entire nation on alert. Hearing this, Ling Qingqiu raised his eyebrows. Oh? She opened her eyes and looked at Lenglinger kindly. Is that really what the post says? Well, it's like this. Lenglinger shrank her neck, and inexplicably she didn't know what was going on. But her sisters seemed to have become a little scary. Inside the Gu family compound. Master, does this post need to be dealt with? Lao Gao opened the Warrior Forum for Gu Yan to check. The above popularity has reached the top in the world. Gu Yan glanced at them and a hint of irony appeared on the corner of his mouth. Those guys are really good at guiding public opinion. Don't worry about it. According to the plan, we will release the hunting notice that was prepared in advance tonight. Okay, master. Lao Gao nodded and left. Gu Yan opened his palms. Buzz. Waves of thick black fog mixed with claw cells appeared in the palm of his hand. If you look closely, you can see that there seems to be a scaled-down version of a long sword in the black mist in the palm of your hand. The master of the Death God organization has reached the late Grand Master stage. Even with his claws now covered and his 10 times combat power for operating in the dark, he is still only at the peak of the middle stage of the Grand Master. You must know that the further you go, the greater the gap between realms will be. If you want to kill the Lord of the Temple of Death without using a dagger, you will need to use other means. Warrior Forum. This is the world's largest and most authoritative forum after the announcement of the universal warriorization. It covers hundreds of billions of people in the two major countries of the East and the West. You can find all the information about the warriors in it. One of the posts was at the top, with a popularity of hundreds of billions. The post was posted by a Westerner. Its name is, "The warriors of the Eastern Kingdom are just like this. How could they be frightened like this by a night organization?" As soon as this post was published, it immediately caused an uproar on the Warrior Forum. Are you crazy? Why are you trying to provoke confrontation between the two countries at this time? Oh God, we didn't provoke it, we just told the truth. Look what you did when the Night King was born. You were on high alert and strengthened the reserve of warriors. Aren't you afraid of the Night King? And the ancient martial arts world isn't as mysterious as the rumors say. 1,000-year-old sect can be destroyed just like that. What did you say? We are only doing this to prevent any harm from happening. Do prevent civilians from being persecuted. That's right. It seems that your Western country has lost order since the announcement of the universal warriorization of all people. Right? This shows that we in the West don't take the Night King seriously at all. But you are all scared out of your wits. By March, all our forces will be merged into the Death God organization. We will fight against the Night King with the whole country's strength. As for you, the East country and the ancient martial arts world, just stay behind us. Death God? I've heard of this organization. It's rumored to be the most powerful civilian martial arts force in the Western country. They often accept assassination missions for martial artists. Many sect leaders in the ancient martial arts world have also been killed by them. Their strength is extremely powerful. To actually integrate civilian martial arts forces together is really too fantastic. Although the leader of the Death God organization is a late-stage Grand Master, are you really so confident that you can deal with the Night King? It's just the Night organization. If he dares to come to our Death God organization's position, he will never return. That's right, everyone knows about the bloody formation of our Death God organization. As long as the Night King dares to come, he will definitely become the nourishment of our formation. The influence of this post quickly expanded. Netizens from the East and the West were also arguing fiercely. Some people think that the Night King is afraid of the Death organization, so he did not take action against the Western forces. Some people also believe that the Night King's target is only the forces in the ancient martial arts world, and he would not bother to attack the secular world. And just when everyone was arguing fiercely, a piece of heavy information directly ended this post. 10 o'clock that night. Electronic products around the world are once again controlled by a mysterious force, and an icon with a broken black Sith appeared on the screen. At the same time, below the sickle, 2 lines of blood appeared. 3 days later, the next sin to be destroyed is you. Anyone with sharp eyes can recognize at a glance that this sickle represents the strongest civilian warrior force in the West. The God of Death. The broken sickle and the strange bloody words. Doesn't this mean the Night King's next target is death? A moment. The most popular post will be deleted by the poster, and reposted the apology a few minutes later. The general meaning is that the poster said that the previous post was not something he wanted to post, but was required to be posted by the Western country's warrior department. But it's too late to regret. Everyone was joking and waiting to see the show. But neutral posts were soon published. I'm just a passerby, but I really can't stand it. As a human community, we should be united in our external relations. The Night King is the enemy we should fight. I think people shouldn't be sarcastic about this kind of thing. Opinions were suddenly divided into 2 extremes. But the same thing is that everyone understands that the Night organization has set its sights on the God of Death. Warrior Department. In a department called Special Department, everyone knows the preview of the Night King, right? I want to hear everyone's opinions. The head of the Special Department is none other than B.A. Jun. The role of the Special Section is to deal specifically with the Night King and provide any clues about the Night King to other departments. They need to judge whether the information is correct and important. We even have to judge whether this information can confirm the location of the Night organization or even the Night King. They were not lying when they said they were the logistics staff. A man with thick eyebrows and big eyes snorted coldly. How arrogant. Who does the Night King think he is? Does he think he is righteous? You are so arrogant in releasing a hunting notice like this. Are you really treating us warriors as soft persimmons? In my opinion, we should send people to the Western country right now and wait for the opportunity. As soon as this was said, another man with glasses denied it. Don't be impulsive, the Night King is so high profile. Maybe he is waiting for us to gather together to hunt him down. Not to mention, given the situation of the warrior department in the Western country, it's not certain whether they will allow us to go there. Chapter 380, Divine Artifact Destruction, Tongue-Pulling Punishment. Shaolin is right. You are all aware of the current situation of the warrior department in the Western country. They are all under the full control of the Death God organization. Given the arrogant personality of the leader of the Death God organization, he will definitely not agree to us going over to protect them. What should we do? The Night King has already issued a hunting notice and will definitely appear in the West Country in 3 days. That's it. Now that we all know the location of the Night King, let's gather a large number of strong men and go and annihilate the Night King in one fell swoop. Nonsense. Where do we get high-end combat power? Do you want to lose all your last reserve combat power in the Western country? It's getting worse. Stop arguing. I have an idea. As soon as these words came out, everyone turned their eyes to the person who spoke. Just see. A man in a black suit leaned against his seat, spinning a pen in his hand. After a moment of silence, he looked at B.A. Jun and said, "Bik, the Night King will definitely go to the West Country to find the Death God organization in 3 days. But according to the character of the Lord of the Death God Temple, he will definitely not let us stay in the Death God organization in the name of protection. Plus, we'll lack the combat power of our warriors if we don't call on the ancient martial arts world. He probably won't be able to compete with the Night King. So in my opinion, it's better for us to just wait and see what happens." Everyone. One person swallowed and asked, "Wang Zhen, what do you mean by this?" Wang Zhen explained, "It means we will be the first to send department members to the Western country. Assuming that the Night King really attacks the Deathly Hallows, our members will wait and see what happens outside. It would be best if the Death God organization could crush the Night organization. If the Night organization is only slightly better than the Death God organization, then our members will come forward to help annihilate the Night organization in one fell swoop. If the Death God organization is completely defeated by the Night organization, then our members will retreat immediately. In short, we will decide whether or not department members will take action based on the actual situation." As soon as these words came out, a thick-browed man slammed the table unhappily and said, "Wang Zhen, are you kidding me? What will others think of us if you do this?" Wang Zhen sneered when he heard this. The world of warriors is all about harming others to benefit oneself. Don't forget why we are in the special section. To make the most effective decision to deal with the Night King with the existing combat power. This is why we are here. Hearing this, everyone shut up. B.I. Jun nodded after listening to this analysis. He looked at everyone and said, Wang Zhen's proposal really took into account the current predicament of the warrior department. The Death God organization has always been overbearing and tyrannical, and has provoked numerous forces from the ancient martial arts world and the secular world. In fact, if this incident didn't involve the Night King, we probably wouldn't care at all. So, I need to make some changes to Wang Zhen's proposal. When Bai Jun said this, he looked at everyone and said slowly, I plan to propose to my superiors to send 30 people for this operation. These 30 people must include warriors from the department and the ancient martial arts world. At the same time, I will also remind the departments in the Western country to inform the Death God organization to be careful of the Night King's hunting operation in 3 days. Although they had many frictions with us in the past, the Night King is the enemy of all mankind after all. We should now unite as one and face the outside world in a unified way. I will also report this proposal to other departments. If it passes, we will immediately recruit people. Of course, if we really have to participate in the battle this time, everyone must be prepared for the complete lack of high-level combat power. But what I want to say is that as long as there is a slight chance of defeating the Night King, then the sacrifice is worthwhile, and I will also participate in this operation. Hear this. Everyone looked at each other and nodded. I see, I agree. I agree. The next day, early morning, inside the Gu family compound, a surge of malice gathered here. But soon the malicious intent gradually subsided and was finally collected into a black sword in Gu Yan's palm. Finally it worked. Gu Yan opened his eyes and clenched the black sword in his hand. A satisfied smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The sword body is like a deep night sky emitting a dark light. This long sword has a perfect shape, with a smooth curve and an extremely sharp blade. There is a long, thin, brilliant red line in the middle of the sword, as if it is a blood vessel beating slowly. There are complex runes engraved on the sword's spine, and each rune seems to contain the meaning of destruction, and they flicker slightly on the sword. Gu Yan held the sword across his chest, his eyes quite satisfied. From now on, I will call you Disillusionment. This sword is a combination of the power of pure love claw cells, the illusion ability of Mirror Flower and Water Moon, the souls of tens of thousands of monsters who are good at illusion, a trace of the power of night. It is the most suitable weapon for Gu Yan in the world today except for the dagger. This is the most powerful weapon used to trigger and enhance Gu Yan's illusion ability. The system also prompts, congratulations to the host for the successful naming. Congratulations on obtaining the artifact level weapon. Disillusionment. Disillusionment only needs to be seen once to be useful. At this time, Lao Jiao walked over from a distance and looked at the weapons Gu Yan had prepared in surprise. After retracting his gaze, he said, "Master, the young mistress is here." Oh? After hearing this, Gu Yan retracted his disillusionment and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. "Qiu is here? Speaking of which, I haven't seen my wife for a long time. But I guess he has been very busy recently. After all, he just became the head of the sword department. Come to the living room." Gu Yan immediately saw Ling Qiu sitting calmly on the sofa. The other party actually came alone? Oh, Linger probably has gone to school. Thinking of this, a gentle smile suddenly appeared on his face. He walked over, not forgetting to tease, "Hey, isn't this the head of the sword department? It really brings honor to my humble abode by coming to such a small place as mine." As he spoke, Gu Yan sat down next to Ling Qiu, stretched out his hand to hold the other's shoulder, and said with a smile, "What's the matter? Did Gu commit a crime that requires the minister of the sword department to come and arrest him personally?" Bao Cao had just left at this time and went to wait in the car outside Gu's house. Ling Qiu listened to the words of the person next to him without any sign of nervousness. "I suddenly felt that my previous worries about the other party were completely unnecessary." She sighed softly, letting Gu Yan put his arm around her shoulders. After thinking for a while, she said, "The warrior department is preparing to send a team of more than 30 people to the western country to secretly observe the movements of the Death God organization. The purpose is to encircle and destroy the Night organization. Because of my special status, I don't need to go." Ling Qiu didn't know if he was crazy or not, actually telling such information to the person who took his dagger. But who can blame her for being her lover? It really fits what a saying in the book says, "What a sin." When Gu Yan heard this, he knew that Ling Qiu was providing him with information. "Although this proposal was made by someone I arranged myself, the purpose is to gather the few remaining high-level fighters from all parties and launch another encirclement and suppression." Gu Yan smiled calmly and shook his head. "Why are you telling me this? I'm not going." "You'd better not go," Ling Qiu said silently in his heart. "Since the information has been given, and there is nothing for me to do here." She pulled Gu Yan's hand away, stood up calmly, and said, "I've already told you what happened. I have to go to the department to attend a meeting on recruiting psychiatrists this afternoon. So I'll leave first. If you have anything, call me." The more she talked here, the more Gu Yan would become suspicious of her. If Gu Yan found out that she already knew the other person's true identity, it would probably break the existing peace. Besides, Gu Yan probably has some organizational matters to deal with. So I should leave first. However, just thinking about this. "Oh, are you leaving now?" Gu Yan's magnetic voice came into her ears. And then, Ling Qiu felt a big hand holding her wrist. And then her body was involuntarily pulled into Gu Yan's arms. Rather than saying he was in his arms, it would be more accurate to say that Gu Yan pulled her sideways and held her on his lap. The other person put his hands around his waist from the sides. A tingling feeling suddenly appeared in Ling Qiu's heart. The pleasure of heightened perception that I hadn't felt in a long time suddenly surged into my brain. "What are you doing? It's broad daylight." Ling Qiu suddenly lost her composure. Her face turned red, and she wanted to stand up from Gu Yan's arms in embarrassment and anger. "What's going on? Is it because I haven't been intimate with Gu Yan for a long time, so my perception has suddenly increased?" Ling Qiu felt ashamed and hateful inside. But in fact, she had always had a secret deep in her heart. This secret is unknown to anyone except Xiaoling, not even Gu Yan himself. That is, the fastest way for her to improve her strength is to get intimate with Gu Yan. This is a practice method that has been passed down from her time as the Night King to the present day. Gu Yan naturally didn't know that he had now become Ling Qiu's perception power bank. He lay on Ling Qiu's neck, sucking in her scent with a hissing sound. "It's just because it's daytime that's why it's suitable. Isn't there a phrase called, 'what is declared'?" As soon as these words came out, Ling Qiu's face was red as if blood was dripping. "You, how can you say such? What kind of thing? Dirty words? Oh, then honorable minister, what punishment do you think I will receive for saying such a thing?" When Ling Qiu heard the other party calling him minister, he immediately bit his lips tightly, his voice trembling a little. "Pervert sex maniac lecher, it is a misfortune for the world to have scum like you among warriors." I don't know whether he was really scolding the warrior version of Gu Yan, or the Night King version of Gu Yan, or just scolding Gu Yan. In short, Gu Yan was very happy to hear it. Of course, when he saw this scene, he understood in his heart that Ling Qiu was really angry. It's rude to joke about it again. So he decided not to tease Ling Qiu anymore. Thinking of this, Gu Yan was just about to let go of the other person. But after Ling Qiu finished the insults, she slowly turned around. grabbed Gu Yan's collar, and said shyly, "You have committed a crime. As the head of the sword department, I have the right to punish you by pulling out your tongue." Gu Yan was stunned. Pulling out the tongue? Kinkyu, what are you talking about? Ugh. Suddenly, Gu Yan's pupils shrank. The sound suddenly stopped. In the living room, there was a long-lost peachy atmosphere. Pure love value increases. Perception increases. Chapter 381, A Rare Warmth. I don't know how much time has passed. Flick. Guyan held Lang Kinkyu's hand and got into the car parked outside Gu's house. The former's expression was very serious. "I feel it." "Feel what?" "I am now so strong that it's terrifying." Lang Kinkyu was speechless when he heard this and patted Guyan. "Be serious." Guyan returned to normal, coughed lightly and said to Lao Gao in front of him, "Anyway, let's go to the Zhang branch first." "Okay. Master." The car starts. Lang Kinkyu on the side rolled his eyes in his heart. Guyan talks about something all day long that even he himself cannot understand. But thanks to him, Lang Kinkyu found that his perception had almost doubled again. He also became more proficient in controlling his mental power. Is this the intimacy cultivation method? It is obviously the method of the furnace returning the favor. I never thought that the other me would forgive the guy who took your dagger. Xiaoling jumped out at this time and said calmly in Lang Kinkyu's heart. Hearing this, Lang Kinkyu snorted in his heart. "Xiaoling, what do you know? I have never forgiven Gu Yan. Everything I'm doing now is just taking advantage of the other party's special physique. Compensation. This is just the compensation that Gu Yan should give me. I have also made up my mind when the time is right. I will confront Gu Yan. Showdown. That's right. When I become strong enough to easily suppress Gu Yan, that will be the day reveal my identity to him." Xiaoling was silent. This person is beyond saving. 1 hour later. Inside the Zhang Warrior Department building. The headquarters of the Warrior Department is located in the capital. So if you want to go to the headquarters from Zhang, you need to go through the branch's teleportation array. Enter the transporter room. A group of logistics personnel immediately greeted Lang Kinkyu nervously. They had received this information a long time ago. "Hello, Minister Lang." "Good morning, Minister Lang." "Minister Lang." Everyone's body was tense, and the coldness emanating from Lang Kinkyu made everyone feel as if they had fallen into an icy abyss. The sword master looks so scary. And the man next to the minister. Isn't he the eldest son of the Gu family, Gu Yan? Lang Kinkyu had a calm expression and nodded slightly in response. A news that Lang Kinkyu became the head of the sword department had spread throughout the entire warrior department on the same day. After all, she has a special identity, and the headquarters director Lao Tianyuan doesn't want anything ridiculous to happen. Gu Yan whispered to Lang Kinkyu, who had regained his calm expression. "No, why didn't anyone greet me? After all, I am the eldest son of the Gu family. Right?" Lang Kinkyu chuckled and shook his head when he heard this. "Oh, what's the point of such false reputation? As for you, Linger really misses your food, please come back sometime." Gu Yan was stunned for a moment, then a smile appeared on his face and he said, "Tonight is fine." After hearing this, Lang Kinkyu smiled slightly, then walked into the teleportation array and said softly to Gu Yan, "And I'll wait for you to pick me up after get off work." "Good." Hush. Lang Kinkyu's figure disappeared in the teleportation array. The pressure dropped suddenly. Everyone present looked at Gu Yan. Everyone gasped. Minister Lang is so nice to Mr. Is this the woman who falls in love? Leave Zhang I branch. There was a hint of inexplicable meaning in Gu Yan's expression. Lin Yinyin was not in the branch. There was a high probability that he was called back to the headquarters. "Oh, but it doesn't matter. There should be some clock and he left that I gave her before. That's just right. If it happens too often, it might draw other people's attention. That's right, what everyone doesn't know is the sweet candy that Lin Yinyin has been eating recently is actually made by Gu Yin using Claw Cell's claw candy. In addition to being delicious, this candy has one most important function, allows claws to gradually devour and wear away a certain seal in Lin Yinyin's body. The other party is a former peace minister. A main source of her power actually comes from a silver core between the other party's eyebrows. But unfortunately, this core is usually sealed in Lin Yinyin's body. The only solution is to lift the seal, or make Lin Yinyin lose her mind and go out of control. In this way the core will appear between her eyebrows. At that time, Gu Yan will be able to take away the core power and thus master the silver true key. The corners of Gu Yan's mouth curled up slightly. This kind of true key is different from the power of night and ordinary true key. It is another kind of human power in between the two. If he can use it, Gu Yan's own strength will increase dramatically again. Back in the car. Because there is still some time before the action. And I haven't been to the Lang family for a long time. So, Lao Gao, cancel all my plans today. Okay, master. Evening. Guyan rarely picked up Ling Linger. And the other party looked surprised when she saw that it was Guyan who came to pick her up. It is worth mentioning, this kid is worthy of being the new generation's son of destiny. In just a short while, he has advanced to the pinnacle level of acquired warriors. You know, Langlinger has only been practicing for less than 2 months. Of course, this cannot rule out the fact that Meteorite has been helping her find the opportunities hidden by the old Dragon King. As time went by, Guyan took Langlinger to the Zhang branch to pick up Ling Qingqiu and bring him home for dinner. After a rare lively night. In the kitchen. Patter. Guyan was washing the dishes and kitchen utensils. Ling Qingqiu also stood by and rolled up his sleeves to help. Ever since his perception broke through a certain level, what Ling Qingqiu could see seemed to be clearer. Although the entire item cannot be seen, but with the help of perception, you can see a complete outline. The most obvious change was Ling Qingqiu's eyes, which became extremely white and emitted a halo. You probably won't come for many days, right? Ling Qingqiu asked softly while washing his hands and doing the cleanup work. She knew and understood that Guyan would go to find the Death God organization in the Western country. But she was still worried, because the leader of the Death organization had reached the late Grand Master stage. If he was blessed by the Blood Evil formation, his level would probably be even higher. If Guyan didn't use the dagger, he probably wouldn't be the opponent's match. Once the dagger is used, it is very likely to be affected by the power of night. After today's contact, Ling Qingqiu has already noticed it. I noticed that Guyan's body temperature was gradually dropping, and get closer to who she once was. Guyan was slightly startled. And he turned off the water and wiped his hands, smiling and said, "Yes, I have something to deal with. But don't worry. I'll be back soon after I finish my work. A night organization has issued a hunting notice to the Death organization. So after 2 days, something must be done." Hearing this, Ling Qingqiu realized that no matter how she tried to dissuade him, it would be useless, so she could only sigh softly. She turned her head to look at Guyan. This was the first time Ling Qingqiu opened her pure white eyes, which were emitting a faint glow, in front of Guyan. Qingqiu, your eyes. Guyan was stunned. He remembered that there was only a little white light in Qingqiu's eyes before. How come now it has become like this? Ling Qingqiu did not answer, but stretched out his hands, gently stroked both sides of Guyan's face, and said softly, "The basic facilities of the sword department will be fully completed next Monday. Zhangye's sword department is located next to every police station. Also, regarding talented people, I already have a candidate in mind. There are several warriors in the Zhangye branch who are suitable to become spiritual masters. I will let them join the sword wielder department and become sword masters when the time comes. Regarding the combat meeting that I told you about before, the department and the ancient martial arts world will send 30 people to the Western country. This matter has been settled. Members of 29 different sects plus the White Army of the department will go to the Western country together. Among them, there are 5 grandmasters, and the rest are all in the late Xiantian stage. The strength cannot be underestimated. I believe even the night organization will have a headache." At last, Ling Qingqiu said so much, but what he really wanted to say was, she slowly extended her palm and slowly embraced the back of Guyan's neck. She pressed Guyan down against her shoulder and said softly, "The last thing I want to say is if you are too tired, you can come back and let me share some of the burden. It's good for us to live an ordinary life." At this time, Ling Qingqiu actually had a slight impulse of not wanting to take revenge. Rather than revenge, she was more worried about Guyan getting into danger. Guyan was stunned at first, then gradually came to his senses. He seemed to somewhat understand the meaning of Ling Qingqiu's words. "If I were to reveal my cards now, I'm afraid the two of us would end up with a different outcome. Is that a good outcome? Or is it worse?" Guyan didn't dare to gamble, because this might very well be his last reincarnation in this world. Only his final plan could ensure that he and Ling Qingqiu could break free from the shackles of the night and be together completely. Not to mention there is someone secretly behind the scenes who is suspected to beat Yandao. Having come this far, there is absolutely no way he would turn back. The dawn of hope is just around the corner. With just a few more steps, Guyan would be able to complete his final plan. "So, okay, I'll come back when I'm tired." Guyan leaned on Ling Qingqiu's shoulder. He gave an answer that he himself didn't believe. Upon hearing this, Ling Qingqiu slowly closed her eyes and sighed softly in her heart. This sentence is a lie. Chapter 380 to the hunting operation begins. The Death Leader is shocked. 2 days later. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the streets of Shiguo are still brightly lit. The streets of District F. Bang, 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 fuck. All the guys from the evil god gang should die. This place belongs to our Bora Fort. Oh god, the damn bullet hit me. Hold on for a while, Jack, reinforcements will be here soon. The sounds of fierce gunfire rang out one after another. Ever since the warrior information was made public and the warrior talent test was announced in March, gangs in various places in the western country could not stand the loneliness and started to fight for territory. The larger your territory is now, the more rewards you will get when you become a warrior and join the death organization. Residents of every neighborhood are suffering from gang warfare. Bang. Fuck, these evil gods are too powerful. The members of the Bora fort hid behind the bunker. Their expressions were very angry. Their weapons are too sophisticated. It seems that they didn't take out the best weapons in the previous fight with us. Damn it, where are the reinforcements you mentioned? Recruitment. One member's eyes lit up and he pointed to the sky and shouted excitedly. Here they come, the new members are coming. Hey, we are here. Help us. Everyone followed his gaze and looked up towards the sky. Just see. Several men wearing blood-stained robes and exuding a bloody smell stood in the air. There was a look of disdain and cruelty in his eyes. Another gang war like this, huh, how boring. Stop complaining. The leader asked us to come here to recruit these gang members, so that we can expand our Death God organization later. Got it? Then leave these guys below to me? After that, the man standing on the right made a hand seal with his right hand and shouted in a low voice. Blood-killing curse. The words fell. Angbang. Well, all members of the evil god sect were blown into a bloody mist. After doing all this, the members of the death organization quickly left. Oh god, is this the warrior? Do strong. Is this what it means to cultivate immortality? This is Xiu. Jack, who are they? The Bora forts emerged one by one, with excitement on their faces. Do powerful. With just a few hand gestures, all those evil god guys were killed. The black man named Jack showed his big white teeth after hearing this. Haha, they are the largest civilian martial arts force in our western country. A death god organization. In March, our gang will join them. I see. Then Jack, isn't there an organization called Knight? Didn't they say they wanted to destroy the death organization? Hearing this, Jack sneered. He patted the speaker on the shoulder and said, Ari, you underestimate death and overestimate Knight. The god of death will be the only civilian martial arts force in our western country. Just think about it, can an organization formed by the whole country's strength be worse than ye? Is what you said true, Jack? What about the rest of the warrior forces in the west? Oh, of course they are all included in the list of death gods. Oh my god, we are going to surpass the ancient martial arts world. The headquarters of the death organization is located in a desolate place with few people. It is surrounded by rolling mountains and dense forests. The main building of the headquarters is a huge black fortress whose outer walls are made of indestructible black alloy. A scarlet magic circle enveloped the fortress. This was the blood evil array of the Death God organization. Anyone who enters without practicing the Death organization skills will not only have their cultivation suppressed, but will also have their blood and energy constantly devoured until they die of exhaustion. On the top of the fortress, the spires point straight to the sky like the Sith of the God of Death. The tallest one among them is where the Palace Master resides. Next to the fortress wall, several members of the organization were conducting night patrols. This damn weather is getting colder and colder. I used to be a gang leader, but now I'm just a gatekeeper. Don't complain as a new disciple. This treatment is good enough. That's right, Blake. Look at the others who have been sent out to collect blood and energy. Brush. At this time, several figures flew into the sky. Several people looked up and exclaimed, look at these. They are the core disciples of our Death God organization. Each of them can use the blood and energy technique to fly in the air. When can we do this? Hey, speaking of which, do you know the Night King? He said he was coming to destroy our death organization. I know even the clown Night King will be suppressed by the formation if he comes to our territory. But this blood evil formation, even a fly that flies in will be turned into blood. As soon as the words fell. Buzz. Waves of black smoke slowly gathered and appeared behind the people. Next second, the smoke gathered into hands, which quickly pressed the patrolman's neck and mouth and twisted them hard. Crack. As a muffled groan was heard, the patrolman's head instantly turned in one direction. Then the smoke gathered and gradually revealed a human figure. There are about a dozen people. Chitoyu stood next to the corpse and took a quick look at the internal structure of the Death God organization. Finally he looked at the spire at the top. He said in a deep voice, according to the plan, clean up the remaining fish for the adults. Yes. The words fell. Some people hide in the darkness. The other part just stood there. Chito looked at someone and said in a deep voice, Ling Yafei, you lead the formation team to break the blood evil formation. This formation can indeed suppress our cultivation. We have to clear up any possible accidents for the adults. Ling Fa is the master of magic array who was poached from the warrior department by Gu Yan, the light of hope. He looked up at the scarlet formation that enveloped the death god's stronghold with disdain in his eyes. Oh, it's just an ancient magic formation. It can be easily disintegrated as long as the center of the formation is found. Give me a quarter of an hour. As he spoke, Ling Fa looked at Shitu and the other fighters and said mockingly, "During this period the kids should not die." As soon as he finished speaking, his figure turned into smoke and disappeared. Seeing this scene, a petite figure wearing a white devil mask beside Shitu was unhappy. She muttered, "Brother Shitu, this guy is too arrogant. Is he just relying on adults to appreciate him?" Shitu shook his head. "Don't think too much. Ling Fa is the strongest array master in our light of hope. It is normal for the adults to appreciate him." He looked at the people around him and said in a deep voice, "Xiao Bie, and the others, the master has told us that our mission is to clean up the bugs outside the Death God organization. There are 30 enemies in total, including 5 grandmasters. However, our mission goal is only to eliminate those below the grandmaster level." "Okay. Good." After confirming, Shitu looked at the tallest spire again, then he and everyone else disappeared. The Night Organization's night raid mission officially begins. At the same time, at the highest spire where the leader of the Death Organization is located, the burly man stood in front of the French window smoking a cigar. This person is the leader of the Death Organization, Dick Hobart. He shouted angrily, "What? You told me to be careful of the Night Organization. Do you know who I am? I'm telling you, Minister Black. If you have the guts, send the Night King himself to my side. I want to see what he's capable of." Hunting preview. I was never brought up to be scared. Snap. Dick hung up the phone angrily. The warrior department of the Western country actually came to remind him to be careful about the infiltration of the Night Organization. Oh, are you kidding me? The blood evil formation of his own Death God organization has been passed down from ancient times to the present day. Any creature that has not practiced the Death God organization skills will have its cultivation suppressed at best, or directly transformed into blood and energy to feed back the formation at worst. Cricket Night King? How could he break into this formation quietly? What a joke. Dick thought of this and habitually stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window to admire the overall view of the organization. What he likes to do most is to stand on a high place and look down at all living beings with a sense of superiority. Just suddenly, when he looked at the scenery outside the floor-to-ceiling window, it seemed as if he was looking at the reflective glass. I saw a figure sitting on my leather sofa. Dick's heart trembled. And then he turned his head sharply. Suddenly, his eyes fixed. Click click. Just see. I don't know when. A figure whose face could not be seen clearly, wearing a strange black windbreaker and exuding a dangerous aura, appeared on the sofa in his room. The other person was playing with his expensive lighter. Wow, the flames started from the lighter. The strange figure looked even more enchanting under the illumination of the flames. In front of the other person stood a black sword that Dick had never seen before. Guyan looked up at the leader of the Death Organization, whose expression was frozen, and spoke slowly. The multi-timbral sound filled Dick Hobart's ears. "Dick Hobart, you are going to die," he said. "I'm going to die?" As soon as these words came out, Dick Hobart came to his senses instantly. His pupils suddenly shrank, and a violent bloody aura burst out from his body. The cigar was turned into ashes by the blood. He immediately rushed towards Guyan, who was sitting on the sofa with his fist clenched. A cruel grin appeared on his face. "Night King. That's perfect. Let me meet you." Boom. A strong blood-colored airflow blew through the table in the room, and even the strange figure sitting on the sofa was blasted into a ball of blood mist. The Night King, dead. After a brief moment of daze, Dick burst into wild laughter. "What Night King?" The words haven't finished yet. A picture appeared that made Dick's brain crash for a moment. Just see. At the moment he blinked, the picture before my eyes should have been on the verge of shattering. Suddenly everything was restored. Dick was stunned to find that he was still standing in front of the French window, with the cigar in his hand still intact. "What is going on?" "Dick Hobart." A familiar voice came to my ears. Dick looked up in disbelief at the sofa that he should have blasted into a bloody mist. "Just see." The strange figure repeated what he had said a minute ago. "You are going to die." Blick. Dick's heart seemed to skip a beat. His brain is shutting down. What is going on? Chapter 383. When did you have the illusion that I did not use illusion? Plop, plop. A weird, horrifying, and unbelievable feeling filled the heart of Dick. A powerful late-stage grandmaster. He stood there, his heart beating like a drum. Rapid and irregular. He stared closely at the black figure sitting on the sofa. There is no fluctuation of true ki. There was no sign of any use of any techniques. So what happened just now? Is it my own illusion? No, it can't be an illusion. I can still distinguish between reality and dreams. Dick quickly calmed himself down, tensed his body, and didn't dare to take his eyes off the Night King for a moment. His own alertness reached its peak, and the true energy in his body began to gather. A Night King is worthy of being the Night King. His abilities are indeed strange. But since I am still alive, it means that although the other party's ability can affect me, the impact is not too deep. So Dick gradually calmed down. And he still looked at the Night King with great vigilance. He said in a deep voice, "You used an illusion just now, right? The ancient martial arts world is filled with powerful people. And among them there are many masters who are good at illusion techniques." Dick had encountered this type of warrior in his early years. But without exception, they all died. In Dick's mind, illusion is ultimately something that is not worthy of being shown on the stage. Only using one's own strength to break all the laws is the path that a warrior should take. Hearing this, Guyan stood up slowly, and multiple overlapping laughter came from all around. Snap! He fiddled with the lighter, making it make a crisp sound. "You are very smart." As Guyan spoke, he walked towards Dick step by step. His steps were steady, and every step seemed to hit Dick's heart hard. Its face was blurred by the strange power. But Dick was no longer as panic-stricken as he was at the beginning, but gradually calmed down. Hearing the Night King's answer, he smiled confidently. At the same time, also tensed the body and gathered the true energy. Looking at the Night King who was gradually moving towards him, he sneered and said, "Night King, I admit that you plunged the world into a brief darkness back then. But I'm sorry. Your era. It's over." Buzz. The words fell. Dick's whole body burst out with surging bloody energy. His eyes turned red. He snorted and stretched out his hands towards the Night King who was walking in front of him. "Go to hell." Boom. An extremely powerful energy surged out from Dick's hands and quickly formed a red beam that rushed directly towards the Night King. The surrounding air was distorted by the surge of energy, as if even space itself could not withstand such a force. This is the strength of a late-stage Grand Master. However, faced with this move, Guyan had no intention of dodging. Just as the red beam was about to touch him, he gently raised his hand, and a deep and mysterious dark energy quickly condensed in his palm. Boom boom. The sound of the violent collision between the two forces resounded throughout the space like thunder, bursting out with dazzling light that made it almost impossible to open one's eyes. Dick's bloody true energy and Guyan's dark energy intertwined in the air, consuming each other, and finally caused a small explosion. Bang! The aftermath of the explosion shattered the windows of the entire room, shattered some furniture, and turned the floor into powder. Under the billowing smoke, boom! Dick's figure rushed out. His fingers turned scarlet and suddenly grabbed the strange figure in front of him. He looked at the Night King with a grim smile on his face, who was not dodging or evading. The blood evil technique that he practiced has reached the state of great perfection, and his fingers were also cultivated into the ultimate secret of the blood-killing technique. Blood Slaughter Finger. With just a slight touch, all the blood and energy in the opponent's body will be completely absorbed by the Blood Slaughter Finger. Even the Night King cannot escape the fact that he is a stronger creature. Dick's attack was fierce, and there was a loud puff sound. Dick's bloody finger pointed at the Night King's body. Succeeded. Dick looked ecstatic. The Night King in front of him turned into a pool of blood at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this scene, Dick couldn't help but laugh out loud. "What Night King? But it's mine." The words haven't finished yet. Under Dick's stiff gaze, all he saw was the Night King who should have turned into a pool of blood. It turned out to be. It condensed again in a strange way and appeared in front of him. At the same time, the other party raised his hand and a palpitation spread throughout Dick's body. Not good. His eyes narrowed. Then, BM. A powerful force rushed straight into his chest. Bang! His figure retreated suddenly and was knocked out of the room. Rush! A pair of blood-red wings appeared behind him and launched Dick into the air. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and he looked at the Night King who was standing intact in front of the broken French window with an incredible look. How could that be? Dick was a little dazed. He should have touched the Night King. But why? Oh, that's ridiculous. All your thoughts are exposed in front of me. A familiar voice came. Dick suddenly felt a chill rising up his spine and he quickly looked behind him. I just saw. At some point the Night King was standing there. He continued to play with his exquisite lighter in his hand. In an instant, Dick understood. His face looked extremely ugly. Illusion? When? He took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Another illusion, right? Night King, is this all you have up your sleeve? Damn, both times were illusions. The most important thing is, how did I fall into this illusion? Dick was in a very bad mood, and anger gradually welled up on his face. Calm down, Dick. Could it be that the reason the Night King did this was just to play a trick on him? Yes, that must be it. My teacher once said that the Night King is an evil being who likes to do things that make him happy. So is it the Night King's pleasure to watch himself struggling in the illusion? How dare you look down on me like this? I am the most talented warrior in the Western country. Born at the pinnacle of the Western Kingdom. I quietly looked up at the scarlet formation above his head. And the formation was still there. And he took a quick look inside the organization and his expression suddenly turned extremely ugly. Damn it, he couldn't feel any breath, not even a little bit of the residual energy. How did the Night King kill so many members of his organization? No wonder no one came even though the battle was so loud just now. No, calm yourself down. It is impossible to use illusions all the time, which obviously violates the operating rules of the technique. Combined with the previous situation, the illusion must have been lifted at one point in the middle. Dick thought quickly in his mind, as long as it is a martial art, it will have weaknesses. The same goes for illusions. If illusions had no weaknesses, I would have died hundreds of times when I was young. As a powerful late-stage Grand Master, Dick naturally had many experiences in fighting against warriors who were good at illusion. He understood when a person uses illusion, there will definitely be flaws. This is true even if the person using the illusion is the Night King. So think about that, Dick, the flaw in the Night King's use of illusions. Sudden, his eyes fell on the exquisite lighter in the Night King's hand. Click click. The crisp sound of a lighter echoed in Dick's mind. That's right. It's a lighter. This is a sign that the Night King is using illusion. Really? Next second, the moment the Night King fiddled with the lighter again. Buzz. Although it was very faint, there was indeed a breath of true energy fluctuation emerging. The time is now. Dick's blood boiled. He clasped his hands together and roared. Night King, I have seen through your tricks. Next second. Boom. Beads of blood appeared all over the Night King's body. But their target was not him, but the lighter in his hand. Bang! A blood bead pierces out. The lighter broke. TSK. A Night King let out a displeased sound, and at the same time, his figure turned into a ball of black mist and fled out of the formation. Don't even think about running. Dick's face was filled with ecstasy. Boom! The blood-red wings behind him shook quickly, helping him fly into the air and chase after the black fog. The Night King is running away. Night King, you can actually run away? But Night King, he's nothing but a clown. No wonder so many people are afraid of you. It turns out it's because you are good at illusion. What a pity, I have killed more illusion warriors than I have eaten. Others are afraid of you, but I'm not afraid of you. Night King, today is the day you die. Dick flew in the air with his hands forward. Boom boom boom. Energy balls emitting scarlet light kept bombarding the Night King. NGBA. However, the energy ball was blown up by another dark energy. Watching the thick fog getting closer and closer, Dick made complicated hand seals with his hands. And he put his fingertips together and pointed toward the top center of the formation. Buzz! A beam of red light shone from the top center of the formation to Dick's fingertips. Brush, 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 brush. A blood-red gem emitting a strong bloody aura appeared at Dick's fingertips. Blood Evil Pearl. The ultimate magic weapon refined from the blood and ki of thousands of living beings. It can activate the blood and ki of living beings. It can exert special blood ki. Normally, Dick would not allow such treasures to appear. But, this time we are facing the Night King. So, he excitedly shouted at the black fog in front of him. Night King, you can no longer use illusions. Obediently accept your death. Blood Evil Formation start. The words fell. Boom. The Blood Evil Formation that enveloped the Death Organization quickly emitted a red light. And at the same time, blood beads flew towards the black fog at a rapid speed. The Blood Evil beads in the Blood Evil Formation. The Cricket Night King, he also had to turn into blood and stay. Dick looked at the Blood Evil Pearl excitedly as it got closer and closer to the Night King. It was almost there. It was almost there. I will be the first warrior to completely kill the Night King. However, just when the Blood Evil Pearl was about to touch the black mist transformed by the Night King. But an accident happened. CRACK. Everything in front of me suddenly shattered like a mirror. At the same time, an extremely cold voice. It suddenly appeared in Dick's ear. When did you give birth? I don't have the illusion of using illusion. Chapter 384, 30 people wiped out, the death god was destroyed. Buff. A tingling and cold feeling appeared in Dick's chest. His pupils shrank and his breathing seemed to stop suddenly. Dick lowered his head and looked blankly at the black sword piercing his chest. How could that be? He stared blankly at the unburned cigar in his hand and at the intact room around him. Have you been staying in this room all the time? Not everything just now. Dick's mind went blank. He turned his head stiffly and looked at the ghostly figure behind him. His voice was hoarse, his eyes collapsed, and blood kept flowing out of his mouth. This is all an illusion. Puff. Guyan pulled out the black sword that was inserted into Dick's chest and said inferently, "Maybe it's also an illusion now, why don't you guess it?" Hear this. Dick's pupils gradually dilated. Thump. His body fell heavily to the ground. The leader of the Death Organization, a powerful late-stage Grandmaster, has fallen. When Dick saw the sword of illusion in his hand, he had already fallen into his illusion. Lighter is just a small trick to lure the other party. The most important thing is to constantly erode the opponent's mental strength. Do all this. Guyan stood in front of the French window, looking calmly at the bloody formation in the sky. Under his gaze, the bloody formation gradually disappeared. At the same time, a scarlet bead appeared in the center of the sky. Blood Evil Pearl. This is the most precious treasure of the entire Death God organization. It seems that Ling Fa has already broken through the Blood Evil formation. Guyan stretched out his hand. Brush. The Blood Evil Pearl automatically flew towards him. Bang, snap. The floor-to-ceiling window was smashed by the Blood Evil bead. Then Guyan held the bead in one hand and Huami in the other. The next second, buzz. The Blood Evil bead suddenly turned into a ray of bloodlight and instantly penetrated into the blood-colored blood bar in the center of the illusion sword. Congratulations to Huami for engraving the Blood Evil Pearl. Now you can use the Blood Sword key. Aha, Bloodend Energy. That's a pretty good ability. It can be used on some people. Think of this. Guyan clenched his illusion and looked outward, not knowing when. 5 figures appeared in the sky. Night King. Night King, you have such a cruel heart. Not only did you kill Dick, you even swallowed up the Death Organization's life orb. The White Army was in the lead. He looked at the familiar figure standing at the spire with shock. Especially when he saw the body at his feet, the White Army was horrified. Dick, dead? The other 4 are also powerful masters. The man on the far left looked extremely unhappy. Hey, B.I. Jun, this is not good. How did Dick die? Why is there no movement at all? It's only been a quarter of an hour since we were attacked. Right? Another warrior also had the idea of retreating. Dick is a late-stage Grand Master. Even if the 5 of us attack together, we may not be his opponent. This. Brush. At this time, a series of black figures also appeared behind Guyan. My lord, I have accomplished your mission. Shitu and the others replied respectfully, each of their masks stained with scarlet blood. Guyan nodded slightly. He looked at the 5 people in the air and said calmly, "Let's go together." As soon as these words came out, the White Army clenched his fists after swallowing the blood orb. The Night King became even stronger. I and others are no match for them. No, we have to retreat, the White Army whispered. However, fart! A sturdy man shouted angrily, looking at the black figure below with bloodshot eyes. The Night King sent someone to kill my wife. This is an irreconcilable hatred. Today, I, Late Yun, must kill him to avenge my lover. Hearing this, Guyan glanced at the man calmly. Oh, your wife is this herd? As he spoke, he raised his hand, and a soul that looked like a woman suddenly emerged in the palm of his hand. These are the souls that Shitu and others collected after killing members below the Grand Master level. Late Yun run away. The soul that looked like a woman let out intermittent sobbing sounds. Then, bang! Under Late Yun's dull gaze, Guyan instantly crushed it into powder and completely dissipated. No! Late Yun completely lost his mind after being stunned for a moment. He gritted his teeth and rushed towards Guyan. Night King, I will kill you. Wait, Late Yun, don't be impulsive. The White Army hurried to stop them. Now they could not possibly be a match for the Night King. Wait a minute. You don't dare to come up, I'll go up alone. Late Yun roared and rushed towards the Night King below. The words fell under everyone's eyes. Guyan just looked up at Late Yun, then said calmly, "Destroy." In an instant, boom! A surging black and red blood energy appeared out of nowhere in front of Late Yun's rushing trajectory. When the two collided, boom! Late Yun's flesh and blood body disintegrated in an instant. Thunder Sky. The BAME roared in disbelief. Late Yun was a powerful mid-stage Grand Master. As the leader of the Thunder Sect, he was killed with just one move. His expression suddenly changed, and the other masters also showed fear. Run quickly. They all turned around and wanted to leave. However, the moment the White Army turned around, he saw the black figure slowly placing the black sword in his hand across his chest. Immediately following, just a gentle wave. Boom! A dark red sword energy illuminating the sky swept out. Its power so terrifying that it made one's scalp numb. It carried a force that could crush everything in its path and swept through the entire Death Organization's stronghold, and pressed straight for the fleeing masters. The faces of B.A. Jun and the other masters were filled with fear and disbelief. Although they were fast, they could not compare with the dark red sword energy. Is this sword energy? You must be kidding. The sword energy was so huge that it covered half of the sky. as if the god of death Sith was reaping lives. Buff. The sounds of flesh or buildings being shattered rang out one after another. And a series of blood flowers bloomed in the air, which was both sad and tragic. Those masters who tried to escape were pierced one by the sword energy. And their blood dyed the soil red. Ugh. Ba Jun tried his best to dodge the fatal blow. But when he looked back, the dark red sword energy was approaching. And there was nowhere to escape. Despair spread in his heart. Am I going to die here? Sudden. White army. A black hole suddenly appeared in front of the white army. And a familiar voice also reached Ba Jun's ears, but before he had time to recall it carefully, he was sucked into the black hole and lost consciousness. Rush. The dark red sword energy swept across the area. The sword energy gradually dissipated after stretching for hundreds of miles. Crash. The power of the strange phenomena and heaven and earth caused the climate to change. Dark clouds gathered, and a heavy rain fell here. Snap. Snap. Heavy rain fell on the ground, constantly washing away the bloodstains on the soil. Uyan stood at the broken spire, calmly watching everything around him turn to ashes. The Death Organization was destroyed. The Ling family was wiped out that year. And now there is one less force left. The extinction of the sect's high-powered personnel will surely speed up the process of converting all the people into warriors again. In addition, this time the West Kingdom and the East Kingdom should also understand the seriousness of the Night King and unite to form an alliance. Oh, everything is going according to plan. As for the person who took Ba Jun away, Guyan also guessed who he was. He had already discovered the enemy. And that was why he launched the attack on the White Army with confidence. But, I wonder if Ba Jun will be surprised or sad after he finds out who saved him. At this time, an umbrella was raised over Guyan's head. Grown-ups. Xiao Ba walked over and stood on tiptoe, and used the power of his claws to conjure up an umbrella, and held it up for Guyan. Guyan nodded slightly, with a hint of smile on his lips. Let's go back. By the way, let the whole world know the final fate of the Grim Reaper. Yes. Rush. The figures of the group disappeared in the rainy night. As if they had never been here. Chapter 385. The world changes dramatically. The Warrior Alliance is born. The next day, a piece of explosive news spread across the world like a swarm of locusts. The most powerful and strongest organization in the West. Grim Reaper. It was razed to the ground overnight. The entire martial arts forum was frantically spreading the mysterious video that suddenly appeared on the internet. In the picture, Dick Hobart, the leader of the Death Organization, was seen standing blankly in front of the French window. Immediately afterwards, he was pierced through the body by a sword from the Night King who was walking towards him. Afterwards, the masters of all the major sects arrived, but were defeated by the Night King's sword energy that covered half of the sky. On the Warrior Forum, netizens were all dumbfounded under the post of the Night King video. Are you kidding me? The existence of the Night King is really a bit too exaggerated, isn't it? That's right, he killed the leader of the God of Death with one sword, and killed 5 masters with one sword. That's not right. Why is Dick just sitting there waiting to be killed? What the hell is this? After we become warriors, we will not fight against the Night Organization, right? Isn't this making us cannon fodder? No, why are you so nervous? Don't you realize that the people killed by the Night King are extremely evil? But what does this netizen mean? What I mean is that you don't have to worry. As long as you haven't done anything wrong in your daily life, you don't have to worry about the Night King coming to your door. Besides, even if he were to find someone, the Night King would only go to the major sects in the ancient martial arts world who treat the lives of ordinary people as pigs and dogs. What you said makes sense. So, if we become warriors, nothing will happen to us, right? Who knows, what if the Night King is actually targeting a warrior? In the forum, some people are discussing rationally, some are making devastating remarks, and some just don't care. No one expected it. 3 days ago, when the Night Organization released a preview of the hunt for the Grim Reaper, people thought it was just a simple joke, but now it has become a reality. The Western and Eastern countries held an urgent international press conference. The press conference site. The heads of the warrior departments of the 2 countries appeared in the camera. The Western minister was a black man with a shaved head and an identification badge written underneath him. Blake Adolf. Both of them had heavy expressions. Long Tianyuan faced the camera, clenched his fists and said in a deep voice, "Last night, our world suffered an unprecedented disaster." There was grief and anger in Long Tianyuan's voice that was difficult to conceal. His eyes looked towards the camera, as if he could penetrate the camera and look directly at everyone watching the press conference. That black figure and the black sword in his hand have taken the lives of countless of our compatriots. The leader of the Thunder sect and other masters are the pride of our world and the elites of the martial arts world. Their sacrifice is a burden that we cannot bear. The eyes of Blake, the head of the Western country's warrior department, or equally resolute, he took the microphone and said in a steady voice, We in the Western country have suffered such a heavy blow. And our warriors have also lost their lives in this sudden disaster. This is not a simple joke. This is a challenge to all of us and a threat to the entire world. A Night King, he is the evil that brings destruction to the world. His voice revealed unquestionable determination. We humans must unite. Not only to face the Night King together, but also to face more crises hidden in the dark. The atmosphere at the press conference was solemn. The ministers of the martial arts departments of the two countries sat on the same side. Behind them were the national flags of the two countries, fluttering in the wind. We will unite all our forces to find the base of the Night Organization and find the Night King. Long Tianyuan's voice sounded again. We will not let our compatriots sacrifice in vain. We will restore peace to this world again. This is our oath and our responsibility. Lake shouted in a deep voice. We call on all warriors and all people to unite and fight this threat together. Speaking of this, Long Tianyuan's expression became extremely serious. Here, the minister of the Western country, Black Adolf, and I have decided that the two countries of the Eastern country and the Western country will be officially merged into one, officially established, warrior alliance. We will share resources, build warrior facilities together, and fight the Night King together. The Night King is far more powerful than we could have imagined. If this is not stopped, I'm afraid the world will be shrouded in darkness by the Night King. Here, I also appeal to everyone in the ancient martial arts world. Now is not the time to split up it's time to unite as one. Family-oriented. Guyan looked at the pictures on EV, with an inexplicable smile on his lips. Very good, everything went as planned. The East and West countries merged. From now on, this world no longer distinguishes between countries, but there is only one human community called the Warrior Alliance. Very good. The West and East countries have been resolved. And the only thing left is the ancient martial arts world. Guyan narrowed his eyes slightly. He has received the message. After the death of the masters of the Thunder Sect and others last night, instead of uniting together, the major sects in the ancient martial arts world started fighting over the territories of their dead. The world of warriors is so realistic. But this would delay his plans. Thinking of this, Guyan moved his index finger. Buzz. 10 black shadow men appeared behind Guyan. From their auras, it can be sensed that all of them are above Grandmaster level. Then, Guyan stared at the screen on Eevee and said calmly, "You guys take Shitu and the others with you to the ancient martial arts world. Give me destroy the 10 sects on the list. Since you want to delay the progress of my plan, don't blame me for adding fuel to the fire." The words fell. Rush. 10 master-level shadow men disappeared in an instant. For Guyan now, destroying 10 sects is as easy as deciding what to eat tonight. Guyan intuitively discovered the changes in his psychology. He watched the live TV broadcast calmly. Almost there. As long as people all over the world unite as one, and a true warrior alliance to fight against the Night King can be formed. At that time, the step of becoming the enemy of the whole world can be officially carried out. I have done everything I can now. All that's left is waiting. Guyan leaned back on the sofa and stretched out his hand. Buzz. A blurry feeling appeared in front of my eyes. And a double image appeared briefly on the back of my hand. The infection of the night first deepened. Guyan's expression didn't change at all. The power of pure love can envelop the power of night and slow down its infection rate. But the price is that it will consume Guyan's own pure love value. This is something Guyan cannot accept. Because pure love value has other uses and cannot be wasted here. For the sake of the plan, this sacrifice is worth it. Guyan closed his palms, the blurry feeling dissipated. And his eyes gradually became firm. Whatever the ultimate truth is, this time, I will never be separated from Len Qiyu again. Speaking of which, calculate the time. A task that I assigned to Wang Yulan and the others is almost done, right? Plant the seed of evil containing the power of the night and claw cells in forbidden areas around the world. In this way he could continuously absorb the power of the forbidden land, thus allowing Guyan to master the power of the rules in the forbidden land. As long as you master it, Guyan can take the initiative to activate this world and make all the forbidden areas appear in the human world. Thus, the monsters were brought to the real world. A scene of monster invasion will be perfectly reproduced by Guyan. And then, the real heroes will also take the stage. If this were to destroy the plot, the person behind the scenes could be revealed. So, I will also eradicate that existence at all costs. Chapter 300 Itexus the truth that Bae Jun knows. Guyan invades the forbidden land. 3 days later. In a lush forest. Tuanzi, how is the White Army doing? Is anything going to happen? Don't worry, Sister Aroyu. Your boyfriend is fine and will wake up soon. Fortunately, the dark cloud has not polluted this only place for recuperation. Otherwise your boyfriend might not be saved. My little My little boyfriend, don't talk nonsense. I saved the agent only because I was once his comrade in arms. Oh, everyone knows that you two were childhood sweethearts. If it weren't for that incident, I'm afraid. Stop talking, both of you. It looks like this handsome guy is about to wake up. Okay, let's go quickly, Sister Oroyu, you should hurry up too. That dark cloud might be coming soon, let us go back and wait for you first. Okay. The noisy sound reached the ears of the White Army. He opened his eyes confused. Where am I? The blurry scenes gradually became clear. The White Army found themselves lying in an unfamiliar grassy area, surrounded by a strange scene. The sky here was an unnatural purple color, and the clouds seemed to be dyed with some kind of magic, flowing slowly in the air. He sat up and looked around, realizing that he was in a huge forest, but the trees here were different from any forest he had ever known. The branches of the trees are twisted and strange. The leaves gleam with a metallic luster, and some even emit a faint light. There was a faint fragrance in the air, which was both fresh and a little weird. Strange sounds were heard from the forest from time to time, some like the roar of distant waterfalls, and some like the whispers of some creatures. Such a familiar place. I seem to have been here before. The White Army tried to stand up, but found that their bodies were extremely heavy, as if they were suppressed by an invisible force. He was just about to circulate his true energy, but he was stopped by a voice that sounded very familiar to the White Army. Wait, you just got injured, don't circulate your ki. Hear this sound. Bae Jun's eyes were startled, and he turned his head sharply. Suddenly, I was stunned. He looked at the figure in front of him and was a little hesitant to recognize him, because the other person is very different from the one in his memory. However, Bae Jun couldn't help but say, John Oroyu? Just see. The person in front of him looked extremely strange. Her upper body was covered in white feathers, and a pair of white wings grew from her back. The feathers shimmered with a strange luster under the purple light of the sky. Exposed on the lower body are a pair of bird claws. Although her face was still beautiful, her eyes were like those of a wild beast. Are you John Oroyu? The White Army's voice echoed in the air, with a hint of uncertainty and hoarseness. A John Oroyu in his memory was that gentle yet strong girl. The creature in front of him, although having John Oroyu's face, was completely beyond his cognition. John Oroyu, or rather this half-human, half-bird creature, had a complex emotion flashing in her eyes after hearing Bae Jun's voice. She approached slowly, each step accompanied by the gentle fluttering of wings. White Army, it's me. Her voice was still soft, but with an ethereal feeling, as if it came from a distant place. John Oroyu stroked the wings behind her, her eyes full of nostalgia. I survived the separation in Forbidden Land, no. Free, but the price I paid was this. Forbidden Area, no. Free. Bae Jun's pupils suddenly shrank. He looked around and asked why it seemed so familiar. This place isn't at the Forbidden Area, no. Free that I and others explored back then. He and John Oroyu have been childhood sweethearts, and he has a crush on her. I had planned to confess my feelings to John Oroyu after returning from exploring Forbidden Area, no. Free, but who would have thought that they and their companions would be suddenly attacked by monsters, and John Oroyu died in a fierce battle. But now, the other party is not dead? Bae Jun had many questions to ask, but John Oroyu shook her head to stop him. A bitter smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. I know you have a lot of questions to ask. But, Bae Jun, you won't be able to bear it after you know this. This cruel truth will destroy all your beliefs. Upon hearing this, Bae Jun's expression became anxious. He was about to stand up, but found that the pressure here was so great that he could not move. As a last resort, he looked at John Oroyu bitterly and asked in a hoarse voice, John Oroyu, tell me, I can bear it, tell me. Is it related to the Warrior Department's anti-demon weapon experiment? He already had some guesses in his mind that John Oroyu would inexplicably survive and become what she is now. Most likely it has something to do with the human body modification back then. Actually, they are all anti-demon warriors who can use silver true energy. They have all undergone human body modification by the Warrior Department. It seems that the White Army has learned the truth about some things over the years. John Oroyu was not surprised. She sighed and smiled miserably. Yes, the department has implanted countless key circuits in our bodies. These circuits gather and flow in the silver core between our brows. It's just we were all deceived back then. This so-called silver core is actually a man-made monster core. These monster cores were all powerful monsters before they died. After death, they were transformed into a core and installed in our bodies. During the battle in the Forbidden Land, I thought I was going to die. But unexpectedly, the core in the Forbidden Land produced a chain reaction, causing my body to undergo a special mutation. The silver core turned into power and fed back to my entire body. I have also become what I am now, half human, half the monster in front of this core. These years, I have accepted all of this and I am living a good life now. But, I still can't help but use my wings to secretly peek at you in this world. Until recently, when the Night King nearly killed you, I couldn't help but help you. Jun, go back, it's dangerous here. The power of darkness has invaded this forbidden area. It is a force. Naroyu's face turned slightly pale when she said this. It makes me feel an extremely creepy power as well. It's as if it wants to absorb all of our lives. As soon as the words fell, boom! A dark cloud floated in from a distance. Seeing this, Naroyu's face turned pale. She quickly grabbed Jun and shook her wings. Not good, that power has already eroded here. The latter was a little dazed. He just glanced at the dark cloud from a distance and was then caught by Naroyu and sneaked into another space. What on earth happened in the forbidden area? Boom! Dark clouds covered the sky and a loud, piercing roar echoed across the sky. Boom! Countless black foreign objects shot into the ground from the dark clouds in the sky. That's not lightning,